Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Can't hear you in the microphone.
No?
No.
I can hear you, Tim.
Well, I mean, if he can hear me...
I'm just surprised that I can't hear you in the call.
Yeah, that's weird. But you can hear me in real life, right?
What?
I guess not. I said that, but you can hear me in real life, right?
I mean, you must have said that pretty quietly because I could not hear at that moment. But also, I had just walked into town, and town gets loud.
Oh.
Because she's busy playing video games at the same time.
Once again.
I'm not busy. Why is your volume like I can't interact with your volume on your video?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
That's how nice of you.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, I don't know how to fix it, but I'm sure you can... Because I can hear me and your mic.
Uh-huh.
Which is probably very annoying for people watching. But...
You'd have to ask Dave.
I am not hearing you through Carol's mic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Like, when you get really loud, then yes, I can hear a bit of an echo, but, like, right now I can't.
So when he laughs, it'll be a problem.
Yes.
Yes.
He just squelched that one.
Yeah, he did.
Tim has a very boisterous laugh.
Yes. Well, let's go ahead and do introductions. For those of you, for anyone who is new, my name's Tim. I'm the host of this channel, and I also run our tabletop campaigns in memoriam. And I didn't say what I do last time.
Nope.
Well, I'm a writer. I produce Tall Tales. Let me just... There, you can check out my series. I also take care of the farm. I'm hearing myself a lot. It's very distracting. It's like the mute. It's like the mute function didn't work. Anyway, yeah, and I'm a student. I take care of the farm, and I write, and I'm a student, master's student. Joining us so far tonight is Dave. Dave, what was your favorite show as a kid?
Oh, favorite show? I'm gonna say Star Trek: The Next Generation. Growing up, I didn't watch a lot of TV growing up. I got my parents were very strict, so I got like an hour of television time a day, if that. So it was usually I would save my TV time to watch Star Trek.
Nice. And my wife Carol.
Hello.
Over there. What was your favorite show growing up?
Goodness, that's hard. My favorite show. Do you remember Gargoyles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a pretty great show. There was that one, and there was one about mummies that I really liked.
I don't remember one about mummies.
So many of the cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation were voice actors on Gargoyles.
That's true.
Yeah.
Marina Sirtis was Demona.
Yep.
Jonathan Frakes
Yeah, we
was
had Evil Riker.
what's his face? Yep.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah,
That was
good.
a
And
great show.
That's
Gargoyles was
on
great.
Disney Plus for streaming as well.
It is. Yes.
Gonna have to show that one to the kids.
Yeah.
And it's also on my Plex. But
Oh, is it?
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I took it down. Maybe I deleted it because it's on Disney Plus.
I don't know.
I can't remember now.
My parents were also strict, and so I didn't. But they were strict in like a weird way. So like, I wasn't allowed to watch much, but the stuff that I did watch was probably not actually aimed at my age group. The favorites that I remember are things like Cheers and MASH.
I used to fall asleep watching MASH growing up.
Oh, I loved MASH.
I loved
was
MASH
terrible.
too, but it was
boring.
so we didn't get cable growing up.
Oh, we didn't either.
So we got like, like 3 channels because where my parents' house is, it's in the valley, and the TV signal for the really didn't come through. So we got like CBS, ABC, and NBC, and that was it.
I thought that was the universal standard for not having cable. Like, that's what we had.
Out of there was also WTXX, which was channel 20, I think, which I don't remember which affiliation that was, and then like 61 was like Fox, but we barely got that.
Oh, see, we didn't have a Fox affiliate until I was in high school. In our area. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, so we just have the 3 channels. We occasionally try to have cable, but then my parents would get offended about something on MTV or whatever, and we wouldn't have cable anymore. The one time it was because our babysitter was watching Beavis and Butthead at our house, and that was it. We didn't have cable for like 2 years.
Well, to be fair, Beavis and Butthead was a terrible show.
Well, yeah, but that was how they
You
rolled.
kids don't know how well you got it, how good you have it. I didn't even have a color TV until I was probably like 10.
No, our TV. We had a TV that wasn't a color TV for a while, and it had the two knobs, the UHF knob and the VHF knob.
Yep.
We had one with knobs, but it was color.
Yeah, we didn't get a color TV until my aunt won a TV and gave us her old TV. And my parents would relegate me up to their bedroom, and we had a 12-inch, maybe it was even an 11-inch Mitsubishi black and white TV. So I remember watching Star Trek: The Next Generation in black and white for the majority of the time that I would watch.
Wow.
Yeah, our black and white TV eventually got moved up to my parents' room, and then like we'd watch it if they were watching something on the main TV, or there was a time when I was sick and my uncle and aunt were coming over for cards, and so I had to stay in mom and dad's room and I could watch TV, that type of thing.
Yeah, I can now hear you, Tim, through Carol's mic.
And yet, I still cannot hear him at all.
That's so weird.
I don't know, Tim. I think it's selective listening.
Here, I will... Alright, I'm going to roll a subject, and then I'm going to refresh my thing. Alright, let's see here. Got a 14, which is... Oh, what game has been the biggest distraction or time sink of all time? That was Eric's question.
Yep.
All right.
I answered it in the Discord.
Yeah, but answer.
I think we all did, but answer is so that the
I feel like we could have actual discussion about it, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna refresh while you guys start on that.
Yeah. So my biggest time sink was Jade Empire, which I started playing. Oh no, they're killing my builders. Somebody loaned me that disc, and I played through it so many times that the Xbox burned a hole through the CD, and I had to go and replace it. So I bought a new one for them and a new one for me, and then played through it a whole bunch more. Like, I still have the entire game memorized.
Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Xbox, did you go out and did you buy the S controllers, or did you deal with the crappy, huge original Xbox controllers?
Oh, I just had the original controllers.
Those things were so huge.
They weren't that bad.
Like the S controller, is what the modern Xbox controllers are all based off of. But they were just a weird shape, and I didn't like the button placements on those. It just felt like it was too much reaching.
We're talking about the original Xbox?
Yes, the original Xbox controllers.
Yeah, I didn't.
They were like
mind
almost
them.
like a semicircle.
I don't know. I almost never played. I don't know if I ever actually did play on an original Xbox.
Oh.
Anything. Well, Halo 2 wasn't on it, right? Halo 2 was on
Halo
Xbox
2 was-
360?
No, Halo 2 was on the original Xbox.
Was it?
Yep.
Alright, then I would have played that then.
Yeah, because Halo 3 was an Xbox 360 exclusive.
Yeah.
I bought my original Xbox to play Knights of the Old Republic and Splinter Cell, and then I very quickly discovered that I hate stealth games. So Splinter Cell was given very quickly to my brother. I was like, "Here, you can have this. I'm never going to play this again."
Wow.
I liked Splinter Cell. I love stealth games.
I don't like stealth games. I'm like, I remember playing like the original Thief on the PC, and that's supposed to be very much a stealth game, and I just ran through it just like, I'm killing everything. I don't care if anyone sees me.
It's called Barbarian Stealth. It's
Yes.
No one knows you were there if they're all dead.
That's right.
Mine's probably The Sims. Yeah. Because I think that's the most. Cause that's the game that like I can spend a large period of time on and accomplish absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So, do you actually play the game, or do you just like build houses and?
I play the game. I never seem to play it for very long. Like,
Okay.
I've not had any multiple generation households actually happen. Because I just don't play it long enough for that. But I do play some. Sims 4 is what we have.
Yeah, my wife will just play it to build houses.
I've done
So-
that.
Yeah, she'll just like she'll do the money cheat, and then she'll just build all these houses, and then she won't actually play the game.
Oh, see, I don't even do the money cheat. Because there's a way that you can... So you can't do this with the first household in a world. So you have to build a generic household, place them, and then you can start doing this. And what it is you select a lot, and then you collect the thing to create people to occupy the lot. You make your family, which I also have fun with. And then when you go to place them, instead of hitting play, you go and immediately hit build. So up until you play, you have infinite money to build with. And then as soon as you hit play, their finances kick in.
So there's a YouTube streamer called his handle is the Spiffing Brit. He has these videos on games that he exploits the hell out of. So one way you can do that is you romance like a rich neighbor, you marry them, you basically throw them into the pool and build a house around the pool, walls around the pool, and then they drown and die.
Right.
Then you get all the money, you sell out all their stuff, you do it again to them. So
That's crazy.
if you haven't watched any of his videos, I highly recommend it. They're quite hilarious.
Yeah.
I think my biggest time sink game, unfortunately, would be World of Warcraft. I no longer play. I quit way back in Cataclysm. It became like a second job, basically. I was a 40-man raid leader for Molten Core, and I absolutely hated that job because it was like herding cats. So,
what's a 40 raid? Is that like a party of 40 people?
Yeah, you have to get 40 people to organize and coordinate, and like Molten Core, like they made that easier like later on, but like we were trying to get like our lower guild members like geared up and stuff, and just warriors are just stupid.
I can't imagine.
They will do the stupidest things, and I actually have a coworker that's a warrior, and he was they were like two of my coworkers, they play together, and one of them was talking about something. I'm like, that sounds like something that a warrior would do. I'm like, is he a warrior? And And sure enough, he was.
See, I can't imagine getting 40 people to do the same thing in almost any context.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard some really, really fun things from people cursing out people during 40-man raids. Like our guild master, he and his wife would get into regular arguments during raids because the guild master was not very good at paying attention to where he was, and his wife would just start bitching at him, and some of the things that he said and then rage quit was pretty hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, man, that's wild. Carol and I are at vastly different skill levels with video games, so I kind of understand that a little bit. She is much better than I am, as you can probably tell by the fact that she knew what Xbox was and I didn't. But yeah, we didn't have video games. We didn't really have much in the way of video games when I was growing up, so I never got into it as much. So
yeah, I didn't get my first console until my junior or senior year of high school.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And that was a classic Nintendo and an SNES, which our friend Eric gave me as a birthday present.
Oh, nice.
Because he had graduated to whatever the latest console was, and he's like, "Here, you can have these." And I was like, "Yes, I will take these. I will gladly take these."
See, we had ours earlier than that, but it was the same situation. My cousin got a PlayStation for Christmas, and so we got to hand-me-down his Sega Genesis. And then later on, we got the hand-me-down of that PlayStation as well.
We had an Atari. And then my sister got an NES for her birthday, I think, when it first came out. So we used to play on her NES. We played all the Zelda games, and Boy and His Blob was the best game in the world. And then my next door neighbor had an old DOS computer, and we used to play Secret Agent Man on her DOS computer.
I don't think I've ever played Super Agent Man. I remember playing NetHack, I think it was, and
we have attracted a viewer named King Pineapple. Hello, welcome.
Nice.
And Zork, was it?
Oh, Zork! Zork was the best game.
You're standing in the field, right?
Yep. I love that game so much. We played that on my grandmother's computer.
So we did have a computer. We had a very early, what's it call it? Oh, we had a Commodore 64. We had a Commodore 64 with it was plugged into just a TV. I used to know what type of TV it was. I think it was Magnavox or something. It was plugged into a TV and a Star printer and an Apple keyboard, and we had 3 games on it, including Winnie the Pooh and the 100-Acre Wood, and some kind of Winter Olympics that came on 4 floppy disks, but we only had 3 of them. Or however many it came with, we were missing 1.
Wah, wah, wah.
That was my earliest experience with video games, was playing the Biathlon on crappy Commodore 64 graphics.
Well, at least you had a floppy drive. I will say that I think the first program I ever wrote was on a cassette drive, where you would have to have the number, you would have to hit play and record, and you would have to keep track of the tape counter, where to figure out where your program was.
Wow.
That was at school. Because I didn't get we didn't get our first computer until high school. When the Pentiums came out.
Yeah. We had the Commodore 64 for... It was well outdated. Well, while we still had it. And then I got an Apple... What was it called? The one piece that was like yay wide, that tall.
Yeah.
And it was just a box.
The one that everybody makes fish tanks now out of.
No, that's the iMac. That's
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about the original.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about.
The Macintosh?
Yeah, the Macintosh. Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but it was...
I thought it was just called Macintosh.
It might be the Apple II or whatever. I don't even know. But it was
a Macintosh Plus.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. With the handle on the top.
Some of them had handles, some of them didn't.
Mine had a handle. Well, what it was my friend Brett had cystic fibrosis, and he was in the Make-A-Wish Foundation because of cystic fibrosis. Actually,
yeah.
Bam. And he what was it? He was an Apple fanboy, and so they gave him that computer, and then later on they gave him a better Apple computer, and so he handed his down to me, and then he eventually got an iMac, and he handed the other one down to me, and that was where most of my computers came from.
I forget what size screen that had. I want to say it was like an 8-inch screen.
It was not
It was
large.
pretty
It
tiny.
was tiny. It was small. Yeah, that's where my Extra Life stuff started. Actually, was heavily inspired by Brett. Growing up, visiting him at the Children's Hospital and such. Which there's information on our Extra Life. But yeah.
People ask why I spend so much money on my computer stuff, and I think I just want to tell them I'm making up for lost time.
I think you're still muted, hon.
Oops. I do that all the time.
Yeah, I loaded that any so for one, Chris is in the chat and not in the call again.
What?
Because he's a slacker.
Saying I remember playing G.I. Joe on the Commodore 64, then Oregon Trail. I assume that's Oregon
I
Trail.
love Oregon Trail.
He wrote Train, but I assume he meant Trail.
Yes.
I remember Oregon, but I did enjoy Oregon Trail. We played that in school.
Yep.
Cross Country USA on the Apple IIe. King Pineapple said tons. Joust, Brain Dead 13, Loaded, then SNES.
Joust is my favorite of the Atari games. Especially if you have a trackball.
I don't know it. I don't know what it... I mean, I assume that it was jousting.
Yeah, but you are on these little flying birds. So...
It's such a weird game.
And there are these little platforms, and then there's a pool of lava.
Okay.
And you fly around, and you try to jump on top of the other players to knock them off of their mounts. And then they drop this little egg, and then you fly down, you pick up the egg for points. And if you get too close to the lava later on in the levels, this red hand comes out of the lava and can actually pull you into the lava. So
it's inspired by
jousting. Yeah.
But not you were
it's such a fun game. But we used to play over at my aunt's house, and she had one joystick, and then we always would fight over the trackball. So it was probably a 2-inch or inch and a half ball, and you could start spinning that thing, and your character would just start running across the screen.
Oh man, That sounds wild. Yeah.
I never played Joust. I don't remember what we had on the Atari. I was like 4 when I was playing on the Atari. But I'm only familiar with Joust because of Ready Player One. Because it was like a big deal in that book.
Yeah, see, I haven't read the book or watched the movie.
You'll have to find a web arcade where you can play it online.
Yeah.
Joust?
Emulated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can try it, I guess.
I mean, there are other ways that you can play it, but I can't promote that on this channel.
However, if you join our Discord, yeah,
However, if you give me a USB drive...
Oh, E.T. on the Atari.
Really?
Gonna bring that up.
Chris, get your butt in here.
Seriously.
Sign in.
That was
Seriously.
that was a great. I watched a documentary about early video games that was like inspired by the whole E.T. and it was analyzing what actually happened, how E.T. played into the crash of the market, how the market recovered. Did we watch that one together?
I don't remember.
I remember I definitely wanted I know the first time I watched it was not with you, and then I really wanted to show it to you, but I don't remember if I ever actually did. But it's on
I don't
Netflix.
remember.
I think it's called Video Game, the movie. Is that right?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There's also another series called Console Wars, I believe. That, if you like video games,
Yeah.
it talks about how Nintendo and Sega competed and stuff.
Oh, I think.
Yeah, we saw that one.
Yeah, did
Or at
we watch
least
that
I
one
did.
together?
That was the one that talked a lot about the esports scene way back when,
Oh, I think. Oh, yeah.
if I'm remembering.
With that kid who won. With that one guy who won like the Nintendo World thing that they interviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who's this new? Who's this new?
Is it
I'm
Chris?
wondering. It better be Chris. Also, you have the classic The King of Kong, which is kind of funny because since that documentary came out, like I want to say that came out like 10 years ago. The guy that was winning all those tournaments was found to be like a major cheater.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Like they finally proved that he was cheating.
It is not Chris. It's Alex trying to get in.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there. I'm starting to be able to hear you, Alex. Can you hear us?
Apparently not. It would seem not.
Bottle guy, get your butt in here.
Okay, I can't hear anything. I have trouble because Windows 11 is very fun.
All right, I'm gonna tell Alex to refresh.
Okay.
That's a no. Since I've upgraded to Windows 11, these headset doesn't want to output audio.
Oh.
It's probably some finicky. Like there's like 5 different audio sources you can pick from with the headset.
Yeah, you can change that though with your not that you can hear me.
Yeah.
No.
Nabbit.
This one also no. Ugh.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I'm gonna turn her down until she can hear us. All right.
Good plan.
Anyway. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I never got that much into. You know what game I did play a lot of, and this is gonna be pretty on brand for what I said earlier. Was SimCity. I did a lot of SimCity on Gary's computer.
I liked SimCity. Especially
SimCity was boring.
like there was a code where you could summon like Godzilla.
Yes, yes, there was. It was
Where
great.
it was like you could enable like natural disasters, and for some reason Godzilla it obviously is a natural disaster.
Oh yeah, what's not natural about Godzilla?
I don't know if Chris is. I think Chris is ignoring me.
Yeah.
It does seem that way.
What about Anno 1602 AD? King Pineapple asks.
I have not played that. I own it.
I have, what is it? It's like 14 something. I have to open my Ubisoft app to figure out which one I have.
I have. I think I have both. I have 1702 and 1602. I think. They're like up for free a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I forgot there's another free game on Galaxy of Gamers today.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I'll have to check my email though.
Okay.
What is my Ubi login?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep, that's it.
That's definitely a password she would use.
Yep. Congratulations, the internet. You have access to all of my games.
What was it? God, sex, secret, password. What was it from hackers? the top
Password
like,
one.
Password one. That's what it is.
Let's see here.
My passwords get ridiculous. I saw this chart that was talking about that was showing if your password is this long, here's how long it would take to on average to brute force it, and if it's this long and has at least these these symbols or these whatever, and according to that, my email password would take longer to brute force than the heat death of the universe. So I was like, I suppose that's probably roughly secure then. At the time, it's been changed now, but at the time it was a sentence. Was my password.
I'm just not going to be able to get into Ubi right now. I'll deal with that later.
Okay.
That's annoying.
Alright, I think I figured it out.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes!
Yes!
I'm currently
Yay!
currently using the speakers built into my
What is-
monitor.
Ew, go away. Why are you playing?
What's happening?
The friggin' Amazon Prime just started playing The Cat in the Hat.
Oh,
Here.
why?
That's.
I don't know.
Why did you have that queued up?
I did.
Amazon Prime must hate you.
Secretly been malware this
on
whole
top
time.
of it, and it just like randomly started playing that.
Oh, where is this?
Real quick, Alex has joined us. Alex, would you mind that way? Would you mind telling us who you are and if there's anywhere on the internet you would want people to find you? And we were discussing what I guess you are kind of still a kid, but what was your favorite show growing up?
Favorite show? That's a tough one. Quickly, anywhere you can find me, pretty much just have a YouTube channel, which, do you want me to, like, put that in chat or something? I don't know how they would see that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I have a thing for you yet.
I can quickly send you a link, hold on. It might just be in my Discord status, so you might be able to just pull it from there.
Yeah, just send it to me and I'll add because I have exclamation point commands for different people that are in the games.
Mm.
And so I'll make one for you.
Oh, you're gonna be annoying because Google is overprotective.
Chris, you suck.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You may continue.
But anyway, What was your favorite show? You can just send me the link and I'll take care of it. But
I didn't really watch much growing up, so I don't know.
yeah, we had some of that already because strict parents.
Remember Dirty
strict
Jobs?
Parents.
That was pretty fun.
But what was that?
Dirty Jobs
The movie?
with
Mike
it was a
Rowe.
TV show.
Oh, Mike Rowe!
Yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah. I was thinking of the Norm Macdonald movie, which was way less popular. I don't like. No one's gonna remember that one in comparison.
Amazing.
That was Dirty Work. That was Dirty Work. That was
Dirty Work.
Job.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Which I enjoyed.
Not to be confused with Men at Work.
Yeah, not to be confused with Men at Work or Dirty Jobs, apparently.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I liked Dirty Jobs. That was a fun show.
Alex is making me feel old.
What?
Right?
Oh. Yeah, no. Alex is among the younger people in our.
I was living in my first apartment when that was aired. I think when that first aired.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just sent you the link.
Yep.
Me and my friend, we do like Minecraft and stuff, and he's getting the server up and running, and I was going to start doing videos again,
Dude, you went the wrong way.
especially on the new computer, since a lot of the videos are on a Windows 7 laptop, which had it was dual channeling 2 gig RAM sticks, so you can just imagine how that thing would like running video capture software, and Discord, and a game, and Wi-Fi all at once.
Oh goodness.
Sounds like a good
I don't know
time.
how I managed to make it work.
What kind of RAM are you looking for, by the way, Alex?
Um,
Do you know what the...
Hold on, I got the side off my PC. I can look. Not DDR5 because that's not compatible, but
No,
it is.
Is it DDR2?
So there's
DDR2 might work. I don't know.
there's
It's just the annoying thing because it was like the crack between the 2 pin segments was misaligned by 1 pin.
Well, yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I thought they were all the same.
Nope.
I know there's like different RAM for laptops and stuff, but I didn't know there's like a bazillion different types.
Yep.
What are you? Let's see what is from this report. Ow, my hair's getting caught in
You
the
said it's 400 megahertz RAM?
Yeah, well, it came from a Windows Vista desktop, and it was 1 gigahertz, 400 megahertz. I have them right here. The actual... It's a Kingston KVR 400 1 GR 2.6 volt.
That might just be SD RAM. I don't think I have any of that.
That might fit in here. I don't know. I pulled it off an old computer I'm not using. I just thought it would be cool to show.
Because, like, DDR2...
The one that's currently in my computer, I'm trying to get the name of. It came with it. It's just like generic HP RAM stick.
Yeah, because DDR2 is 1600 megahertz, so if the RAM is 400 megahertz, I think that's just SD RAM, which I don't think I have any of that lying around.
Yeah, no, that's not what I want anyways. I know it's an 8 gig. Oh, I can probably just go into computer settings and get like the weird thingy for it.
SD RAM? Like, does that stand for standard definition?
I don't remember what it's...
Solid drive, I think it was. I think it was just solid drive.
No.
No.
Oh.
I feel like that'd be
Solid.
better.
I remember solid drive RAM from like old servers. They were weird how they worked.
Synchronous
They were, like,
dynamic.
Ow.
That somehow makes less sense to me than when I didn't know what it meant.
Because DDR is double data rates.
Oh.
I had to look that up because I haven't had to use SD-RAM since...
King Pineapple said, depends on your Mobo too. Just need to search your Mobo specs for bus speeds.
Yep.
I'm going to read it confidently. And
pretend that you know what it says.
I'm not gonna pretend I know what it says, but I'm just gonna let you guys know what it says.
Yeah, you can just pull out the stick RAM, and there should be a label on it saying exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna pull out the sticker. I only have one stick in my computer right now, and I'm not gonna pull it out while on call. Though that would be fitting for Pineapple. I'm not gonna pull it out on call.
No, I was talking about your old system. You're not on the old system now, are you?
Oh no, I have the two sticks right here, but I don't have a camera to show them.
Yeah.
Warranty void if removed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the warranty's expired by now.
I mean, actually, I might have some SD RAM. I have an old Dell, but I think that's only
actual
2 gigabyte sticks.
Yeah, that's better than this. This is only 1 gigabyte. The actual, like, SD drives are insanely huge. They're 2-inch by half an inch thick. As far as, like, the actual, like, process drives on them. They're 2 inches wide by, like, half an inch long.
I'm trying to picture that.
So, if you like 2 of your pinky nails next to each other.
Yeah, but like
that doesn't seem very. I mean, I don't know what we're comparing it to, but that doesn't sound like a very large anything.
Current days, stuff gets like.
Oh, you're talking
the ones
about
I have are tiny.
For like the You're talking about like your solid state drives?
No, on the old RAM sticks, the actual cards.
Oh. Okay. Well,
the
one of the sticks that I have just on my
the
desk.
PSOCs or whatever they are, the SJF 782s.
And that's DDR2.
Yeah. Oh, that's Vengeance Corsair,
It
isn't
has
it?
a huge heat spreader on it.
Yeah, but that's like Vengeance Corsair, so that's actually like good RAM.
Hun,
This
what's
was
mine?
before.
What's your what? Your RAM?
Yeah, like the stick that he was just holding up. What is?
Oh, the Vengeance Corsair Vengeance.
I don't remember.
I have like 4 of them.
Yeah, I think I told you to get the Corsair.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think I got the Corsair.
Yeah, the Corsair is
But-
pretty good.
I bought this when before Corsair got really popular.
Hmm.
That was from, I want to say it was from my first i7 build. So that was like 10 years ago.
Right. I think you have 32 gig DDR4.
That's pretty good. That's like
Sounds right.
what most gaming PCs use now.
Yeah. I know we upgraded
Unless
it so that I
you
could
have a
stream better.
DDR5 motherboard.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to try and sit under my desk to
Just-
try and read this because system settings is being useless. As far as what? Ow.
Yeah, system settings isn't going to tell you the speed of your RAM unless you have a third party.
No, I was just trying to figure out like, what it is.
Most of what I do.
It just said 8 gigabytes, blah blah available, and then like the actual other thing, like device info, wasn't very useful.
This is probably the most intensive thing I do on this computer most of the time is stream while playing like tabletop games.
Well, yeah, but that can actually be quite intensive and stuff.
But sometimes,
Yeah, well, that's why we upgraded the RAM.
that's why you upgraded the RAM.
Yep.
Sometimes I stream while playing Mass Effect, though. So
That's
that's
true.
probably
Ooh.
the most intensive thing I do. But the rest of the time I write. It's just a word processor for me and music player.
DIMM1, DIMM2. Oh, that's just saying which one to prioritize.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
That probably doesn't mean anything, does it? DIMM.
No, that's just the module.
Yeah.
1 and 2. It would be on the side of the RAM.
Yeah, but it's on the side that's.
Yep.
It's on the side that's blocked by the stock cooler. course, I have to put the stickers on the inside, so I can't fit anything and never read it.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be like SK Hynix.
It's like
Right?
generic Windows based. Oh, it's still Kingston brand.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing what HP 320D4US1E8T20. That's just numbers. That's useless. 8 gig 1RX16 PC4. Oh, it's going 3200. Yeah.
Oh, if it's 3200, then that's gonna be DDR4.
Yeah.
Most
Alright,
likely.
I'll have to try and find another DDR4 stick for it.
They're pretty cheap.
Yeah, DDR4 is actually quite cheap, a lot.
Until DDR5 becomes the standard.
Yeah. God.
Anyways, sorry, Tim.
If
what was the
Razer
next
made
subject?
like actual computer parts besides just like keyboards and mice,
The
and like
description,
Razer and Corsair just got into battles over like who has the better, faster stuff, just how fast like computer parts would evolve.
the description of the show is what happens happens. I mean, there are like, if we get into like offensive territory or something, you know, I'll call it. But I mean, I don't.
Hi, baby.
It would be against the
were you
premise of the
supposed to
show.
install this fan.
That was the topic descriptor I had up for if we'd started talking about PC parts.
Oh.
See,
He knows us well.
I thought Jacob was going to be joining us, and I thought Steven was going to be joining us.
Me too.
yeah, that's why we moved to 8 was so Steven could join
know.
us. But yeah, I guess.
I wonder, did Jacob ever build his PC?
I don't know.
I sold him 3 fans.
So probably.
I mean,
He might be working on it.
He was hoarding all of his parts. He's been ordering his parts piecemeal,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so Grizz was asking me, should I order the parts as I get money? I'm like, no, just order them all at the same time.
No.
Because
No, 'cause otherwise
what's going
we're
to
just
end up
gonna sit
happening
there.
is inevitably something's going to go bad, and if it's going to be one of the things that you ordered early, and then you won't be able to return.
Yep.
Or something's gonna get like backlogged, and you're waiting for like that one thing to piece the whole thing together.
Oh, like my PC case?
Yeah, that
Oh
happened.
yeah.
I remember that.
I pre-ordered my
When
PC
I was
case.
originally building what's now my server, everything came but the motherboard.
Mm.
I had all the parts but the motherboard. I had like the case, all the fans, everything, and I'm just waiting for the motherboard to get here.
See, I had everything except for the case because I pre-ordered the
Well, just get like
Lee
a static
011.
shock field.
Hmm?
Get a static shock field, and then you can just place the motherboard down on like.
Oh, I
And then
have
actually use it.
extra cases. I could have cannibalized the system, but I didn't feel like building a system and then having to tear it apart to put it into my new case.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I initially did, well, I didn't build the PC, but like I got a really cheap PC, and then as my understanding and knowledge grew, I kind of just modded it out, like gutted it, basically used it as a base, and completely rebuilt it.
Oh.
What are we talking about now?
Uh-oh.
Terrible news or releases. So I guess disappointing or
releases?
just terrible.
Fallout 76.
Okay, yes, that qualifies. Fallout 76 was a disappointment. It was
Very much a disappointment.
because I like Fallout 4, and so we pre-ordered Fallout 76. It was like a birthday present or something, wasn't it, hon?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you could get on the beta.
So I get in on the beta, and I was up at school when it came out and when the beta like first launched, and so I played the first couple days up at school. But it was I was so excited. I was so excited for it, and they were advertising it as, you know, you're going to go out and you're going to rebuild the wasteland, you're going to do all this stuff, and then the one thing you can't do is rebuild the friggin' wasteland. I was so mad.
No, that's not necessarily true. There's another thing that you can't do in Fallout 76, and that's play offline.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very good
That's
point.
true. Yeah, so I mean, I've poked into it a few. I mean, I played it a few times during the beta. I've tried it a couple times since the beta, but I really just clocked a lot more hours in Fallout 4 than I did in Fallout 76. It just did not work quite for me.
That
Yeah.
was like Diablo 3 when it came out. I was like, what? There's no offline play? I have to be online all the time, so I can't play this while I'm traveling?
Yeah.
This whole online only play is just it's so frustrating.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, I did sign back in. I hadn't signed in for a long time, and then I signed back in when they announced that they were going to have people. Because if you don't recall, they didn't have any. There were no NPCs in Fallout 76 at launch. It was an empty wasteland, and then they started populating it later. And I signed in and tried it out once they announced they were populating it. And
then you never talked to anybody.
I did talk to people. She was griefing me something fierce, but
Every time I watched you, I came out and saw you playing. You were just like exploring the wilderness as usual.
Well, I
never
was-
talked to anybody.
I was on my way to town, and there's interesting things out on the way.
For days.
She-
You were on your way for days.
She walked out at one point, and I was just like sitting in a tree stand playing a mouth harp, and she was like, "Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?"
Yeah. This is how he video games.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like my immersion. I'm a tabletop gamer at heart. I like my immersion. My Skyrim game is ridiculous because of that. But
That's like how I used to play WoW for a while. Was I would just go out and pick flowers, and mine nodes just because like it was relaxing. It's like probably all the stuff that Carol hates again because like in Mass Effect 2, I like scanning for resources.
Yeah, that's just so boring.
It's just relaxing.
So boring. I don't like I love role playing. Like that's like the best part of a game is the role playing. But like I can't do the grindy stuff like mining for resources and walking around picking herbs. It drives me insane.
Yeah, I get it. It's not for everybody.
yeah,
For me, I would say that Mass Effect Andromeda was such a letdown.
Yes. That was very disappointing for me.
I just remember like I had the Logitech G910 Orion Spark keyboard, and I remember starting up Andromeda, and the keyboard lit up with like the Andromeda like logo on the keys. It was pretty neat, and I was
That
like,
is
"Oh, this
pretty
is cool." And then like the graphics loaded, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Aw.
Stupid Frostbite engine.
Yeah. What was their other one that was super disappointing? What was it called?
Anthem.
Yes, Anthem. That one was really bad too.
That was my sign language for Anthem, was the suit that lets you fly around.
Called
That
The
died a
Traveler.
horrible death too.
People still play it.
They were selling it. I think they were selling it for like $2, like discs
Yeah.
for like $2.
Yeah.
It's like on the deep discount rack.
I think you could play it free with Game Pass now.
But yeah, No Man's Sky was a disappointing release. I never got into it until like it went like on sale like hard, and then they were like, "Oh, and we're introducing multiplayer finally."
Hmm.
It didn't have multiplayer at first?
No.
No.
Huh. I didn't know that. I guess I kind of assumed that everything has online multiplayer now because everything friggin' has its online multiplayer.
including games that don't technically have it, but you can like find third-party homebrews like Skyrim.
See, I'm
You
perfectly.
can.
I like when it doesn't have it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can get Skyrim working in multiplayer now.
See, I don't want to
Like-
get Skyrim working in multiplayer. I like my Skyrim.
There's a
game.
few like homebrew things. I mean, it does feel like it would do it friends.
But on the topic of like disappointing like releases, you could classify just Bethesda games in general as.
Yeah, one of the topic suggestions was biggest game that you were excited for that was a huge flop, with the caveat excluding Bethesda.
Oh, I forgot about that. That is true. So I
The
remember.
answer for me would have been Andromeda. So
Yeah,
See, I liked
remember-
Andromeda.
yeah.
I was like one of 3 people.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and I gotta play through it, but it was just for. We talked about this last week. It was just way too repetitive for me. It felt like it was just like the same missions. It's almost like for me, what's this stupid game that was on Blizzard and then they moved it to Steam? It was Activision.
Got any more?
Destiny 2.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah,
every
Destiny
single
2 was
mission
repetitive.
seemed to be exactly the same in that game, and it was just like, I mean, I max leveled my character. I was like, I'm not doing these raids, and it just seemed like at you gain a level, you put some points in, or whatever, you get some gear, and then you do the same exact missions, just at a higher level.
Mhm.
But I remember being super excited when Bethesda released Morrowind. I had gone out release day. I might have even pre-ordered it, and I installed it, and that game was so glitchy. Like on the opening path. When the game starts off, if you go onto like a certain outcropping of rocks, you get stuck, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to restart your game.
Wow.
And I got stuck in.
You
the
sure you weren't
environment.
playing on Impossible?
No, I was just playing on like whatever the normal mode was, but I remember I had to restart that game like 5 times, and after the 5th time, I was like, I'm done with this game, and I just threw the disc.
You know,
And
what was
then-
kind of a flop?
What was that?
When Windows 7 started going up.
Hey!
Oh,
kind of
this was way before Windows 7. This would have been
no,
either
but
Windows
Black and White.
98 or Windows Millennium.
Yeah, but remember Black and White? Like that game got.
I love
way
Black and
overhyped.
White. Listen,
that game-
I loved that game.
Yeah, it got way too overhyped though for what it actually was.
I never heard anyone talk about it, but I loved playing it. I actually refused to upgrade my computer because of that game, because
I have the old laptop I played a little bit on. I'm like, this isn't as good as it all seems to be. Like it was kind of a meh.
oh, I enjoyed it so much.
It was fun.
At the time, the copy I had at least would not work on Windows XP or Windows ME, and so I was using Windows 2000. And so I stayed with Windows 2000 for like 3 years, just for that game. And then when I switched away from that, I switched away from Windows entirely, and had Ubuntu until sometime in our marriage, when Carol handed down a computer to me, and it had Windows.
Mhm.
Until you realize that you couldn't game on Ubuntu.
Well, he doesn't really game.
I don't
so-
game.
True.
All of my gaming is because of Carol, so like, except
Fair
tabletop gaming.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting story. So like that ties it into Black and White. So my first optical mouse, it was the Logitech iFeel optical mouse,
Oh,
which had force feedback, and Black and White was one of the games that had support for that game. So if you moused over like a creature with your mouse, the mouse would rumble with the pointer. The mouse would rumble.
Oh, kind of like
based
on like
where
the
you were
GameCube and
pointing.
stuff. Kind of like on the GameCube and stuff, how it used to like
Yeah.
rumble and.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know how they could do that with mouses without like completely, because you think that would like set off the little DPI thing, and
No,
then
because
your
like
cursor would just like have a spasm on the screen.
no, it's just so a rumble pack. All it is it's a small motor with an offset
Yeah.
an offset counterbalanced weight.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
all
okay,
it
that
does
makes
is
sense.
it just spins,
Yeah.
and that's what creates the rumbling feeling. So if you ever like have taken apart like an Xbox controller or anything, it's a semicircle weight,
Yeah.
and there's two of them.
So,
Hi, Chris.
hello, Chris.
Introduce yourself, Chris. The
Hi,
question,
everybody.
Chris, was who are you and what was your favorite show growing up?
Yes.
Yep.
I am Chris. I'm the guy that lives in Buffalo, so
Yep.
all things Western New York. I'm part of the In Memoriam online group on Thursday nights. And what was the question?
Favorite show
What was
growing
your
up?
favorite TV show growing up?
So as a kid, so to give people perspective, I'm going to be 46 next month, so it's like an older. But for me, growing up was the Muppets. That
Oh, yeah. The classic Muppet Show?
oh yeah, nothing
was a
but the
great
Jim
show.
Henson stuff. But actually, the one that I've actually been binging it is Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack.
Oh, yeah.
It ran from like the 80s until like 2002.
Yeah.
And it just got me into so many things like ghosts and UFOs, and not so much the murder mystery stuff is cool, but I always love that supernatural side of things.
My brother was so scared of that show that even hearing like Robert Stack's voice would send him into a panic.
That's
Oh.
funny.
And so I would torture him sometimes by just putting that show on, turn the volume way up so he could hear it no matter where in the house he was hiding.
that theme song right now, like even now, if I was watching it downstairs, 11 o'clock, I get creeped out in my house. I'm like, is there a ghost upstairs? What's going on? So I just quickly like turn on all the lights, get upstairs, and close all the lights, and say, "All right, CJ, he's my cat.
Yeah.
You're protecting me with your super cat abilities." But he'd give me up for a treat, so I don't think that'll happen.
They have a podcast now.
Do they really?
Yes.
Yeah, I listen to it at work.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really
That
good.
was
They-
followed up by Rescue 911, right? That aired after or before
yes.
Unsolved Mysteries, I believe.
Yeah, and they did after Robert Stack passed. They kept it going with like Virginia Madsen and Dennis Farina, and then somebody else. It actually started originally with the guy that played Perry Mason. I'm drawing a blank. And Richard Muldoon, but then Robert Stack took it and he just ran with it. But they did have a resurgence on Netflix.
They had
like
two seasons, right?
Yeah, 2 seasons. I think there's a third, but I haven't heard. But it's just not the same. I just love seeing the 80s stuff, and I love how they're like, this guy will be away for 50 years, and he's not getting released until 2020. And I'm like, oh. They show latest computer technology, and it's like something on an 11-inch monitor with like barely just an era. Pay telephones, no cell phones.
You just like
Yeah.
listening to Elliot Ness, right?
Exactly. The Untouchables.
Or Ultra Magnus.
Oh,
yes.
right. I forgot about that. It's another. That's one of those movies that scarred me for life. Seeing Optimus Prime's demise.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't dead. He was just sleeping.
And I still remember me and my cousin went to go see it, and we were like blown away that it had one swear word in it, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!"
The chapter on the DVD and the Blu-ray is called the S word.
Holy moly!
It's amazing. Oh, man.
Oh, great stuff.
They had to add one swear so they could get it to the PG rating out of the G rating.
Oh, that's why they did that?
Yep.
Oh, I never knew that. Oh.
They did not want to market it as a rated G because rated G movies do not do as well at the box office as PG movies.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that. But the one movie that probably still freaks me out to this day is The Dark Crystal.
Oh, that's like the
Yes.
best
It's a
movie.
good movie.
Oh, I love it, but man, it's still that when they do
The
that.
Skeksis?
Yes.
That thing, yeah.
Chamberlain.
That's what I was thinking about. That was a cool movie.
Yeah.
Chamberlain.
I love that movie so much.
I've seen that movie once because Carol showed it to me.
I tried to show it to the kids and they freaked out.
That's true.
Yeah, it's
It's on my Plex.
is it?
Well, I
Yes,
own the
it is.
DVD. We grew up watching that movie.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's on Netflix now.
Well, they have a show.
No,
Or is
Age
it was
of
the Game of Thrones
Resistance.
spinoff?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Age
that
of
was like the Game of
Resistance
Thrones
is
spinoff.
there, and I think they're coming out with a second season,
no, they canceled it.
or it was it canceled?
Did they really?
Yeah, unfortunately. But it had a great. I mean, the voice actors they had were just like phenomenal. Like Simon Pegg was in there, and a whole bunch of others.
Oh well.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it.
it's just as creepy.
I didn't see. I wasn't afraid of the Dark Crystal. That's like the one.
And the
movie
big
that
giant
didn't
scarab
terrify
beetle
me.
guys.
Oh, the big walker
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Oh yeah, Mark Hamill was in the Netflix show. He did a voice.
I need to
A
watch
bunch
the
of
show.
others. Yeah.
So, like one of my favorite albums, music albums, is the Crystal Method Vegas, and the first song on that they start off with the opening monologue of the Dark Crystal.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Man. What's Yeah, I didn't get into. I had never watched it until Carol showed it to me. It just
So
wasn't.
sad.
We had weird movies that we were watching when we were growing up, like
Oh yeah.
the like we weren't allowed to watch Aladdin because it had magic. I mean, mind you, we'd seen other Disney movies which all definitely had magic. That's probably why we didn't see like the Dark Crystal, was because of magic and weirdness. That's definitely why we didn't see Labyrinth. But we watched like all of the Indiana Jones movies, all the James Bond movies when we were way too young to be watching James Bond.
Seriously.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment was I had the DVDs for the original Muppet Show, and I brought them to my mom's house to, show my nephew at the time. He's 14 now, but he was like, I don't know, say 5. And I start putting it on. It's one of the first episodes. Sandy Duncan, she's dancing with the Muppet. And my mom walks in, and she goes, you got to turn that off. I'm like, why? And she goes, well, they're dancing in a bar. I'm like, in a bar? Mom, what? You're the one this was the same woman that used to let my grandfather take us to the bar, me and my cousin. So I was like, yeah, I just remember that cracking me up.
There was an episode where you remember the scene in When Harry Met Sally, where Sally was faking an orgasm in the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and there was
I'll have what she's having.
There was an episode of the Muppet Show where they parodied that scene, and Miss Piggy was playing the part of Sally. And that came on, and Dad was like, "This is horrible!" And like it was one of the first times we'd ever watched the show, and so we were never allowed to watch it again. So I never saw the Muppets at home again after that. Like,
Wow.
that was it.
Oh man.
Granted, when I was like I went to the summer camp. It was like my first year. I stayed overnight. There was like a whole bunch of like teen campers, and so when it came to picking a movie, they all picked Waterboy.
Oh jeez.
And so there's a whole bunch
man.
of teen campers, and there's like the 5 young, like 7 or 8 year olds just in the crowd.
Gatorade.
Oh, I love Adam Sandler, but I loved Henry Winkler in that movie. Seeing the
Oh my
Fonz,
god!
seeing the Fonz with the Roy Orbison tattoo, I was like, this is This is him turning on a dime in his career. Holy moly!
That's when
You
Adam
can do
Sandler
it.
movies
All night
were still funny, though. Like, they started going downhill after that.
Oh my god. No, my brothers, they spent a summer, and it was the whole summer. Every single morning, they'd get up in the morning, they'd go downstairs. These two girls that lived in the neighborhood would come over, and the four of them would watch Happy Gilmore and what's the other one? It wasn't Waterboy.
Billy Madison?
Billy Madison. They would watch Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison back to back every single morning that entire summer, and it drove me nuts. I was like, they're fine movies, and like the first couple times, yeah, all right, but like.
So I can start talking about shampoo and conditioner to bother you, Tim?
I don't remember them well enough to be bothered by anything in particular.
Silky and smooth.
Wow.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, I actually at one point, partway through, hey Tripper.
I live. I exist.
At one point, partway through the summer, I said, so are you guys like dating these two girls? They're like, no, they're not like, we're not like interested in each other. I was like, they're coming over and watching stupid Adam Sandler movies with you every single morning all summer. I don't think it's for the movies. Like, I just have my doubts.
I mean,
maybe it was.
I have my doubts it was for anything else, if I'm honest.
All right, well, all right.
Knowing your brothers.
Are you telling relationship stories again?
No.
No,
We could, but no.
we don't need to go there.
Tripper,
No.
introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where we can find you online if you want to, and what your favorite show as a kid was.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tripper.
Star Trek.
Actually, as a kid, no, it was Frasier. But
Frasier was a great show.
One of the reasons I became a counselor, actually. But no, you can find me online under TW4449 on Reddit or Discord. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That's fine.
All right, I think
but Frasier.
Trip has made it in time for a new topic, right?
Sure. Let me see what the D20 says. Oh, that's when I incidentally started talking about. What got you into tabletop or board games?
You.
That's
Not board games, but tabletop games, yeah.
yeah.
We just lost Trip again.
Oh, Tripper!
Video cut out.
He's frozen on my screen, but he's not in the call anymore. Or there he goes. He seems to be having it. He's sorting it out. Yeah, when Carol and I met, I had beaten like 2 video games ever in my entire life, and rarely ever touched them. And so she introduced me to video games mostly by way of, I believe, Mass Effect.
Yep.
And I introduced her to tabletop games, which she had dabbled in before, but I made a part of our lives.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There was a board game that was like D&D, but it was definitely a board game with set characters.
Was it Hero Quest?
It might have been Hero Quest. We had it when I was a kid, and my oldest sister was always like the dungeon master, and we played that a lot.
That's worth a lot of money these days.
I wish I still had it.
Welcome back.
I completely missed the question because for some reason everyone disappeared and then only Carol and Dave reappeared, and apparently they couldn't hear me.
Huh.
So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you disappeared off the screen. It was what
got you into tabletop or board games?
Tabletop or board games, yes.
Yeah.
Tim. My answer is Tim. And I'm done.
My dad used to be a D&D master, and so my older brother, he's like a really artsy dude, so he used to like make up all these figurines and stuff.
Nice.
all the different characters. I guess like just kind of being in the family, but also like looking at these characters just kind of got me like enthusiastic and kind of into it and curious to what's going on here. Because my dad had this giant like medieval style like campaign going on, and I was kind of into that, so that was really cool. Seeing like the characters.
Nice.
That is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was with Tripper. It was because it was at school, and we were doing. It was the Starfinder campaign, right? No. What
Mutants and
happened?
Masterminds.
Oh, was it Mutants Masterminds? I thought I had got you to play a session of something else before that.
Nope.
But yeah, so that was that. Now for me, it was I had tried a mech game where you build a mech like at a camp once, but for me it was mostly the biggest me getting into it was a World of Darkness campaign that was being run by this group of people on IRC. So I was playing on Merc, and which if you're not familiar, IRC is like an old chat channel that kind of predates Discord, but it was pretty similar to Discord in application, if I'm honest. But it was, but it was a World Darkness campaign, so it was crossover of vampire and werewolf and all that stuff, mage, and my coworker at a convenience store I worked at was involved in it, and so she invited me to join in, and I was like, well, I wanted to work on my character development because I was getting into writing stories, and I wanted to get better at writing my stories, and so I joined to learn how to tell character stories better, and just got hooked. It's such a great. I just love it.
Yeah, it was. I sort of dabbled in mostly tabletop stuff just throughout my life. I always loved it, but my cousin had a friend who wanted to run a D&D campaign, and I was sleeping over at his house, and I remember just sitting there and creating the characters and just loved it. And I remember like, hey, these are the same characters from that cartoon that was in the 80s, the Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of spawned an interest. It obviously was this is in the 80s, so back before the internet. And I never had much luck at doing it continuously. I never had the friends that were interested, but I would go, and there was a local shop, and I would just buy. I still just buy the books just to read the world. Like there was Merc, BattleTech, Batman.
BattleTech, I think that was the one I first tried that one day.
Yeah, that was a big one. So I just got hooked into that, and it actually wasn't until recently that, through meeting Tim, that I got back into, some kind of tabletop on a first consistent game in, I'd say, over 35 years. So,
wow,
we're Chris's only friends.
No, I just don't have a lot of friends locally who are into this kind of stuff. But I am spread. There was a couple local shops that are open back up after COVID that I'm exploring.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm getting into some. I just did my first foray into Commander deck of Magic the Gathering, and then the shop went through some upheaval, and my friend from there got kicked out. But that's a story for
Wow.
Ooh, Chris, show people the dice tower.
Oh,
I made you.
Go get that. But also I got into D&D mostly through like the early video games like Pool of Radiance and Curse of Azure Bonds, and the books of like Forgotten Realm and stuff like that. Here it is.
I loved reading the rule books, and so my friends and I, my high school friends, it turns out were getting into D&D around that same time, so I joined them, and
It's upside down. That's upside down.
So we started playing D&D, and we started experimenting with other systems. So we did D&D, and we did Mutants and Masterminds, and we did Vampire and various other things. And so I did have a consistent group for a long time when I was living back home. But then when I moved to Mass, I didn't. I didn't have that for a long time. So pretty excited to be able to do that now online and have a consistent thing with it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm catching up. I listen to one podcast and they talk about a lot of like other D&D type games, and they talk about Pathfinder being
Oh
a
yeah,
really popular one, and on the Master Minds side of things, there's one called Masks, which I guess is pretty popular.
I've heard of that one, but I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, they spoke highly of it, though. They definitely said Mutants and Masterminds is right up there, because I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before I knew about Mutants and Masterminds, the one I tried was called Aberrant, which was similar concept, but it was very much like, oh, you're an aberrant, and the aberrants were people who had superpowers, and so it was very much a, predefined concept. You were basically mutants, and so then it was built around that idea instead of where Mutants and Masterminds is very much if you can have it in a comic book, you can build it in our system, But my friend Andrew was really into that one, Aberrant.
I would like to see one that's kind of tailored around like medieval RPG games, like Skyrim, Sword of Mana, like older games, and how the sort of mechanics and just like play style works.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like kind of the idea of just like medieval village with like mages and like dark warriors and stuff.
Because you can do that in a lot of systems. But have you ever tried 4E D&D 4th edition?
No, I haven't really done much D&D outside of what I've played with you guys.
So 4th edition was designed to be friendlier to people coming over from MMOs. And so it relied upon very strict builds on powers that you could have as cards that you could renew, that renewed at a set rate. So like there were I don't remember what they were called, but they were functionally free. Like you could use it once per turn. And then there were powers you could use once per encounter, and powers you could use once per day. And things just recharged at a very natural rate. And it was coming from something like World of Warcraft or even Skyrim. It's a pretty natural shift. I don't like it as much. Alright, that's fine. I don't personally like it as much as 5e or as 3.5, but that might be a good place to start for what you're talking about.
Okay.
So, I did not grow up playing tabletop games or like tabletop RPGs. I grew up playing like board games and a lot of like card games.
I think
first
I think Alex is heading out. Have a good night.
Okay.
Good night.
See ya.
My first experience with D&D was like one session of a weird campaign in college, back when THAC0 was still a thing.
Oh my.
So, all I remember was we were in some kind of backwards world. So up was down, down was up, and left was right, and right was left, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what the hell is this thing?
Right.
I got reintroduced to it when my friend Jesse had a D&D session one of the nights of PAX East. I think that was the year that I first met Chris too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember.
So we had a fun time with that. You know, it was a very much a one shot, where I don't think we even had a resolution, but it was lots of fun. Then it went a while. Some friends and I, we would do was it virtual tabletop or what's tabletop simulator? We would do board games. We would do board games on a regular basis with a tabletop simulator, but the one guy who usually kind of ran, like, ran all of the games. He ended up disappearing, so
Oh goodness.
that kind of went to the wayside. Do you remember Kurt Connor at all?
Yeah.
Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Like he used to like have when he was working in Northampton at his law office there, he would have tabletops Saturdays where we would show up at his law office and use their conference room, and we would just play board games.
See, I never knew about that. I wish that I'd ever been invited to that.
Yeah, that was he was involved with Valley Church at the time.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if he knew you back then.
Yeah, maybe not. Because I didn't meet him until... Because I met him at Mercy House, so I guess it would have been... He went back or something.
And I really miss those days. He moved down to South Carolina. But those were some really fun weekends because, you know, he introduced me to, like, Battlestar Galactica, the board game, which takes hours and hours and hours to play, but it's so much fun. You know, lots of fun games with him.
Nice.
And then Eric, Chris, and I, we started to do a Star Wars RPG, the Edge of the Galaxy, one of those, and I kind of got disinterested with that, unfortunately. And then you announced that, you know, probably about 6 months after we stopped really playing, that you were interested in doing some tabletop. So I was like, well, I know that Eric and Chris would probably be interested, and I'm like, I'll try it because, like, I think it's fun.
Right.
So this is the longest running campaign, you know, going back to strict childhoods. You know, the church that I grew up in, they had those books. I don't know if you remember the Turmoil in the Toy Box series of books.
I don't remember the book specifically, but I definitely remember the
D&D was in those
D&D
books.
scares.
Yeah.
Including Care Bears and G.I. Joe and He-Man.
Wait, Care Bears was in there?
Yeah.
Listen, I was definitely banned from He-Man. Like, we were not allowed to watch anything He-Man.
Yep, because they cast magic from their bellies.
Yep.
And that's against the Bible.
Yeah.
I love the Care Bears.
Yeah, I
And
definitely
the same thing
remember
with
all
My
that.
Little Ponies and stuff.
Wow.
So I would read the books because it had all the pictures of toys, and I'm like, I want that toy.
Yeah, we weren't
Like
allowed. I got a
Batman was
knockoff.
in there.
I got a
Sorry,
knockoff Godzilla toy for my birthday one year, and so it didn't even really look like Godzilla from the movie, but like, it was supposed to be Godzilla, and so when I opened it and I saw this monster, for some reason I was like, I thought it was a He-Man toy, and so I was like, I got all disappointed, and my uncle, I think, who had gotten it for me, was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I'm not allowed to have any, like, here." Masters of the Universe stuff. He's like, no, that's Godzilla. That's Godzilla. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, ridiculous. I think I still have that Godzilla actually, or did.
You did, yeah. It's missing its tail.
It is missing its tail.
I think one of the kids has it now.
Yeah, maybe. But, oh my goodness. Yeah, my group that I played with, so the group that played on IRC ran for a long time, a very long time. But my friends that I just like hung out with and played with, we would do a campaign for maybe like 4 months, and then we'd decide to try something different. And so we were constantly jumping around between campaigns. So this is the second longest campaign I've ever had because of the IRC group.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I am really enjoying it, and it was an experiment, and I'm really proud of how it's come out. I'm very excited for this one shot.
I gotta admit, I gotta look at the potential characters, and if there's another, disembodied
posted 'em
body
yet.
part. Always possible.
Yeah, I haven't made the characters visible yet. There's 2 more I want to finish before I do. But the intro thing is up.
Yeah, I said the same thing to him when I signed in. I was like, I don't want to be a slacker like Chris, so.
Hey, I'm the only slacker here. I still get you every once in a while, but not too often.
You get me last week, so.
I did. I felt
Chris
a little
counts
guilty.
those small victories.
And the opportunity presents itself. Gotta take those chances.
Oh man. But yeah. So you started. So Tripper, you've only played Mutants and Masterminds, and then that one game that you ran, right?
No, I've played Mutants and Masterminds. Then it was the game that I ran. Then we did that one-shot Star Trek campaign. That was
right,
basically
yeah.
quasi-reviving. And then we did that Scion campaign, also for one-shot for
Extra Life. Yeah.
Right.
That also never finished. We did D&D for a while. And so this is the 6th game I've been part of. The first time I've done a repeat of any system.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When were you doing D&D? It wasn't at school, was it?
Have you completely forgotten Beacon?
Oh, right! How did I forget Beacon? That was a fun campaign. So that was a campaign that I ran that was supposed to be a horror campaign and then wasn't.
Yeah. I don't think we really had the right crew to make it horror.
No, and I didn't railroad it enough.
Yeah. You guys just made a bunch of really stupid choices.
I mean, yeah.
Which is really par for the course, if I'm honest. But
Yeah. I've yet to be part of a game where everyone isn't making stupid choices. I didn't realize that actually was a possibility. That you had a serious game.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it depends, but some choices are much. I had a friend. So, Vampire the Masquerade, it is notoriously difficult to die because you're a vampire and the system is built around storytelling more than combat and all this other stuff. And so, there's a lot of things going against it. Like, if you die in that game, you almost have to mean to. And Gary made such stupid decisions that he lost 3 characters in one night.
Wow.
Is Gary an alias for Matt?
No.
didn't you kill Gary though? Like,
I'm pretty sure I killed him one of the times.
didn't you enact your purple lightning on him?
I might have enacted Purple Lightning on him at one point in there, yeah. Yeah, I think I probably did.
Yeah, I think I remember that story.
So, Carol, I think you'd be proud of me, by the way. My character now seems to be the conscience of the group.
That's true.
I'm so proud. You've all grown so much.
The ex-domestic terrorist with a cult is now the...
9 is now the one giving out moral lessons to people. Although he's supposedly murdered a whole bunch of people, but that was told. Well, the funny thing is that was told to the group by people who actually had been murdering the very same people he was accused of murdering, so their credibility is pretty low.
That's true, yeah.
So they don't know what to think on that.
Did you read my dream journal?
What?
Oh. I said, did you read my dream journal?
Well, now I'm very curious. What? Okay.
No, I have not made his dream journal available to anyone else.
Okay.
What?
You guys are ridiculous.
I'm wondering what the heck 9 is doing in your dreams.
Wouldn't
Murder.
you like to
Right
know?
there.
I would.
I'm gonna leave that right there.
We have to.
And on that bombshell, new topic.
Well, has Carol answered that one? I don't think Carol answered that.
Which one?
The question about what got you in the tabletop games, unless
Oh, she
I
did.
I
was-
did, yeah. It was Tim. But I mean, I had done some like quasi tabletop stuff when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
So
I
two
never
of us
got
have
into it.
two of us have the exact same answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Eric also had Hero Quest growing up because I remember playing that a few times at his house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was a fun game.
Setup was such a pain though,
Yes.
with all of the pieces.
Yes.
They actually came out with another version, a new revision of it, and the artwork was owned by the group that by Games Workshop, and that was the single thing that prevented them from reissuing the game. So they had to hire another artist to
Oh, wow.
repaint the cover, like all of the
Wow.
art, because Games Workshop would not allow them to reuse the art.
Wow.
Yep.
Isn't that like Styx having to re-record Lady in the 90s because the old record label wouldn't give them the recordings?
Yeah, like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift was doing that.
Yep.
It's not for the same reason, though. It's because they were trying to screw her financially.
But of course.
Wait, you can get it for $3?
What? Hero Quest?
Yeah, I'm looking on eBay right now.
Wow.
No, that's probably just for like a piece. If you could get like the full box, like full game of Hero Quest for $3, that would be amazing, because they sell for like full sets sell for like over $300
Oh, this,
easily.
That one's just cards. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the new release is like $300.
Goodness.
The complete game is selling right now for $200 on eBay.
Well, I see one that's 100. This one.
Man, that was such a fun game.
Card House Game. Hero Quest. $99.99.
That doesn't sound like the same game.
No, Card House Games is the store.
Oh, okay.
Published by Milton Bradley. 1989.
Yeah, this was definitely the game that we had. These pictures bring back so many memories. Man, I wish we still had that. It was so fun.
Actually, it is $135, brand new,
Nice.
from GameStop, of all places.
That's the new revision, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
We need to get it
Okay.
for the nostalgia.
Right.
For the nostalgia.
Yep.
And then keep it away from the kids because they will lose all the pieces.
That is true. That is
They do.
factual.
They have been doing that. They have been losing
Yes.
pieces of games.
Yes.
This includes the oldest one. Keep it away from him.
Yes.
He's known for, last I heard, he's known for swallowing game pieces.
What?
What?
You can tell him I said that.
I'm so confused.
That good. That mission accomplished.
Okay.
Huh, I'm going to have to look this up now.
What? Whether he swallows game pieces?
No, how much Hero Quest is on Amazon.
Oh, hon, he has to be awake at like 5 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope I don't have to do anything about that.
He's a big boy.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Uh,
Apparently, there's an expansion too.
really?
Yeah. There's a couple of expansions apparently.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so $130.
Goodness.
Nice.
That's not bad at all.
We'll have to look into that at some point when we have $130 we can throw at it.
Yeah, definitely. I want that game. Anyway,
All right.
Is it new
What's our
topic time?
next topic?
should we roll a new topic?
We can't do anything that doesn't involve rolling dice, can we?
True
No.
facts. I almost bought him giant lawn dice for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, should have.
Okay, favorite game genre.
Hmm.
Game genre. Definitely RPGs.
Yeah, same.
Definitely RPGs.
What subgenre of RPGs?
There are
Since
subgenres.
RPGs are so broad.
All of them, like, it's about the story with an RPG. It's
Yep.
about living that life. It doesn't matter what the genre is.
Okay.
I'm one for action RPGs, a la Fallout. I would almost throw Red Dead Redemption into that. It's pseudo RPG, but because it's so very story driven.
Yeah, I would call Red Dead an RPG.
Mhm,
Yeah, so that
definitely.
kind. Preferably with guns. I like shooters, RPG types, but mainly because I like customizing the weaponry too. I wasted so many hours grinding for guns in Borderlands, which also I consider an action RPG. I've spent so many hours farming and grinding for the perfect gun. I don't know why I did it, but I did it.
Borderlands considers them an SRPG, a shooter RPG.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fallout New Vegas is arguably my favorite of those, if it actually worked right all the time. The story's fantastic. I love how the character has literally no backstory except they're a glorified mailman with brain damage, and you can kind of go from there. So, plus I absolutely love the environment.
You
Also,
wake up after being shot in the head.
Yes, ain't that a shot in the head?
Glorified mailman with brain damage sounds like Death Stranding.
Carol was trying to convince me that I should check out Death Stranding. She thought it would be
AKA
right
the
up
walking simulator.
Yeah, it's like everything you love in a video game. Just walking around,
But
exploring,
you also have to
and
balance.
bringing people packages.
Everything you love, including Norman Reedus. Yes.
Yes.
Well, who doesn't?
Did you find the references to Death Stranding in Horizon Zero Dawn?
I haven't
There are
finished Horizon Zero
multiple
Dawn.
multiple references.
Oh, I didn't catch those.
Yes.
I need to.
I wouldn't
finish
be able
my-
to tell you what they are right now, but there are several references.
They're definitely there. I'm holding them right off screen.
I would say I'm in the same boat with RPGs, and I like first-person shooters as well. But if it's usually a choice, it's usually more of the RPG style games. I've bought more consoles. This kind of goes into one of the other topics.
Yeah,
But I have bought more consoles and hardware to play RPGs than any other genre of game.
Oh, absolutely.
We can talk about that when that topic comes up.
Well, I mean, we can drift between topics. It's fine.
Yeah.
We did last week. Yeah. It probably depends on my mood. Like, I really... Well, I mean, I play everything like it's an RPG. So I guess, realistically, it's RPGs. But, like, sometimes I'm just in the mood to play Stellaris. And just build an empire. And conquer the galaxy. But, I disturb Carol with how I play some of the games, like Mass Effect and Dragon Age and Batman. I love the Arkham series of Batman.
Giving people permanent spine damage.
Yeah. She's like, you should not be enjoying this part of the game as much as you are. Because I'll just be up on the gargoyles, just waiting, and like.
Yeah, he enjoys the terror game mechanic in the Batman game.
Yeah, you can see their little heart rates going.
Yeah.
I'll just be up there cackling and waiting, and every once in a while, one of them will start to get a little too comfortable, and I'll just throw a batarang at them and then go hide somewhere else. And they're like, "Oh my god, what was that?"
Yeah. He just enjoys scaring people to death in the Batman games.
I think it's torture at that point.
It is. It's definitely torture.
Mm-hmm. If it ever gets dark in your house, look out. Him with the pots and pans.
We'll make sure we never have any gargoyles.
Or batarangs.
Or batarangs.
Yeah.
That's what I should do. I have a batarang
Cardboard.
Bottle opener that I should give the Tim.
Oh, dear.
It'd be dangerous.
Carol will be like, "No, take it back. I don't want it."
We did this online quiz on like what's your gaming play style, and mine ended up being deeply immersive and highly violent, and she was like, those two things should never go together. Like that's not
Tim's the reason why their Wiimote is in the TV. No.
Yep.
Chris, tell us about your experience with the Arkham series.
Oh no.
It sounds like there's a story there.
Yeah.
Oh, the vehicle stuff?
Yes, Chris.
Oh,
hates
the
driving.
newest one? Are you talking about the Arkham Knight?
Yeah, Arkham Knight. So within video games, there's
I
two
was
things
so mad about that.
Yeah, there's two things I don't like in video games. One is, well, I'm not into stealth. I'm like Dave. I don't like stealth. I'll try it, but I just want to go in like Rambo style.
Right.
But I really dislike forced vehicle stuff.
Yes! Arkham Knight was horrific for that.
Yeah, I got to the last point where you're getting chased by like a digger, and you're driving the Batmobile. I hated that thing.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like Andromeda, because I'm like, I don't like the whatever they call their vehicle. I just don't like the forced vehicle stuff.
We'll call it the pseudo Mako.
Yeah.
Nomad.
Yeah.
The not Mako.
I think it was called the Nomad, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
That sounds right.
That sounds about right. But there's a couple games I've played that I actually enjoyed. I think there's one with called Days Gone. It was like a zombie game, but you had a motorcycle, and they'd have these like chase quests. But if you failed it like 3 times, they'd say, "Do you just want to skip this?" And then you could just like skip it. And I was like, yes.
Oh, nice.
That's like the best and worst game mechanic of all time.
When it does that to
like-
me, I feel insulted.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's awesome because, yes, I know to skip
I will
this.
do this.
Obviously, I suck. But at the same time, how could you suggest that I need to skip this?
Man.
I'm like, yep, take my vehicle, take my car keys. I'm walking. I'm good. I'm good.
Chris would have probably loved that mechanic for like the original Battletoads.
Oh God,
The saucer level.
painful memories.
See, I like the vehicle, like, if it feels like it makes sense in the game. Like the Mako. I have a great time just tearing around in a Mako, and it's just a blast, just imagining Garrus in the passenger seat like this while we're
Yeah.
flipping over. But like, but yeah, that's fun for me. But the Arkham series was built on specific style, like specific game mechanics that the vehicle just did not fit with. And then in Arkham Knight, when they introduced the vehicle as a big deal, it didn't feel like a fit. It just felt shoehorned in, and I hated it so much.
And then they made all the Riddler challenges.
All the Riddler
vehicle
challenges
based,
were vehicle
which was
based.
a huge disappointment.
Oh, I loved the Riddler challenges in the previous games, but not that one.
Yeah.
No, but one game I did like the vehicle just to traverse the world was Cyberpunk. Instead of taking the rapid transit,
Still haven't finished that.
I would just take whatever vehicle I had and just drive around.
Man.
You know, if it's a method to get from A to B without being integral into the quest, I like it. But if it's like you must finish this,
So-
racing thing, no.
The problem is, like, in a lot of those games, it's the developers don't understand like how much goes into vehicle mechanics for like most like racing games, and the controls are just too loose and just not good. Like I felt the same way with like the Warthog in the Mass Effect series. You know, at the end of was it the first one or the second one where you have to drive through all the tunnels and stuff?
I had a blast with that.
I just hated that because like I didn't mind driving the Warthog when you were just driving around, but as soon as like you had any objective in it, I was like, this sucks.
The Mako.
Make it. Oh,
Yep.
The Warthog is Halo.
but the Mako. Oh,
No, I was talking about Halo.
Oh, okay.
You definitely said Mass Effect.
Oh, I was thinking about the levels in
No,
Mass
no, no,
Effect when you
but
do that.
The last level in Mass Effect where you're driving the Warthog. I think it was the first Mass Effect.
The Mako.
No, I'm sorry, the first Halo.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I should go to bed. No,
It's the shirt, man.
I think it was the first Halo where you have to race through to escape the
Yeah.
explosion.
Yeah.
And I hated that. I actually had my friend Rich, like, who's great at like driving games and stuff. Like, Rich, do this. I'm not dealing
Well,
with it.
the Warthog controls were terrible.
So were the Makos.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
the
The
Mako's
made sense.
controls were like fun, terrible.
They made sense. The Warthog's controls were terrible.
I've never played
They
Halo.
so the controls for the Mako on the PC.
Oh,
or-
PC. Well, there's your.
No. Were far better than the controls on the Xbox.
I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I only ever played Mass Effect with the controller, but the when you separate turning from the camera, that is the worst decision you could ever make.
Well, the Mako has that.
Not really. Like the Mako,
Yeah, it does.
if you're if
Because I used to like
going
spin the
around-
camera around and just look at it from the side as it was going
Yeah,
like this
you
in
can-
midair.
You can choose to do that, but
Oh,
if
okay.
you're not touching the camera controls on the Mako, it will just go behind you. It'll follow you.
Oh, okay.
But in the Warthog, you have to move the camera. It's terrible.
I loved, because I thought you were talking about this level in Mass Effect where you have to drive around in the Mako and there's like Geth every so often and you're going through these tunnels and everything. And I would I had a blast. There'd be a group of Geth stand there with their stupid little assault rifles trying to shoot at my tank, and I would just drive right through them and then screech to a halt and fire the plasma cannon at them. Just watch robot parts go everywhere, and then tear off down the tunnel some more. That was good times.
Yeah.
Violence
funny.
and immersion.
It's funny because the last bit of Mass Effect 1, like right before the final boss fight, is driving through a whole bunch of tunnels
Yeah.
and you're on like a time limit.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's the thing I'm talking about.
well, there's a few parts like that where you're driving
okay.
to Mako and shooting Geth.
Yeah. Can't wait till I get
Drop
there.
the name Tim. in
Yes. Davey's learned Oh. Well.
I was saying it in my head, though.
You're saying Halo in your head.
Yes.
And Mass Effect is
But
coming out
Mass
of your
Effect
mouth.
kept on coming out.
Wow.
And on his shirt.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have my N7 shirt.
Yep.
I need to get an N7 shirt.
Same.
Speaking of
What
clothes,
are you doing?
Carol got me a new kilt for Father's Day.
You're like tearing
Okay,
things off
don't
of your
pull it up.
desk.
Yeah, don't pull it too hard. It's got pockets.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Whoa,
That is-
cool.
It's that pocket. Usually Dan are not the one excited about that.
Listen,
He's always like, "Oh, I need to go put on shorts so I can have pockets at the store."
yeah, like if I'm going to the
So-
grocery store, if I'm going grocery shopping, like I don't want to hold my wallet in my hand the whole time, so I
Is
end up having to change.
Is it one of the tactical kilts?
It's a
They
utility
sell-
kilt.
It's a
Okay,
utility kilt, yeah.
because
Yeah.
they have tactical ones too that are like cargo
Yeah.
cargo
Yeah.
kilts.
Yeah, they're cargo.
And I think they're called I think they were called tactical kilts or something like that.
Yeah. Well, there's
Cool.
yeah.
Just getting ready for the Scottish uprising, I see.
Oh yeah. yeah.
Obviously.
Always be ready for the Scottish uprising.
Heck yes.
They're having another vote this year.
Oh no.
It's so I don't know if any of you guys know this, but the elections that just happened in Northern Ireland and Wales and Scotland, all for the first time in a long time, went very nationalist. So they or independent, I should say. They're looking to like. This is the first time that a anti-union party has won the majority in Northern Ireland. Like, there's a major anti-UK party that won the majority in Scotland and in Wales. So it's very apparent that the United Kingdom might fall apart in the next few years. But Scotland is planning to have a vote, I think this year, on a referendum for independence. So we might be seeing that happen soon.
And so there'll be confusion all over again on whether they're called the United Kingdom, England, or Britain.
Well, the United Kingdom would be wrong. Because if everybody but England leaves, it's not the United Kingdom anymore.
Truth.
That is true. And what's his name? His no confidence vote didn't go through.
Yeah, Boris Johnson
Boris.
survived his no confidence vote.
Wow.
And then he was like, "This is a very good thing," and it's like, "How is this a very good thing?"
Yeah.
A bunch of people just said they have no confidence in you. You
Yeah.
should step down.
But not enough people said.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't enough to force him to step down.
Right.
So.
He like that guy. He just reminds me of his haircut. Just reminds me of a Muppet.
Well, you're not wrong. Oh man. Yeah, so I've been keeping an eye on that. It's interesting, it's exciting. There's Star Trek. People have been joking about it because the primary pro-unification party in Northern Ireland is now in control of the government there. and it's 2022, and there's there's an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation that was banned in the UK for the longest time because Data makes an offhanded reference to the Irish reunification of 2024.
Wow.
So people have been like posting pictures of that screenshot.
But before they start thinking, oh my goodness, we're in the Star Trek timeline. We didn't have eugenics wars, so...
Well, those weren't
I
supposed
know,
to start
that was-
just yet.
No, the eugenics wars
They
were
started
in
in
the
1997, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's when Khan Noonien Singh was a thing.
Okay.
See, this is why I'm running the Star Trek campaign.
Yeah. But you know, we'll see.
But that could have been rebooted because of Picard.
That's true.
No.
Wait, because of Picard? I
Picard
don't-
season 2.
Oh, okay.
Well, that happened in like 2024,
True.
so that wouldn't have gone back that far. Although they didn't. Okay. I guess we're segueing into that now. Picard.
Well,
season
because
2.
they at the end of that season, there was is it Adam Soon? Was that Brent Spiner's character?
Yes.
He has the Project Con file on his desk.
I'm guessing that's a revival, but actually, somewhere in. No, actually, I think in one of those episodes they did mention the eugenics wars, so they canonically had already happened in that timeline. But I'm guessing that was going to be like a revival of it. But this fits in with one of the episodes in the season 4 of Enterprise where Brent Spiner came in as another ancestor of Data's creator. Where this is basically when he switched from
Spoilers, hon?
Yeah, spoilers.
Oh.
It's Enterprise.
It's Enterprise.
I'll tell you when the spoiler is over.
Okay.
Go on.
So basically, he switched from doing human experimentation, like dovetailing off of Khan Noonien Singh stuff, to looking into artificial life because he realized artificial life could be superior. That's it. That's barely a spoiler. So
Spoiler
but
over.
Yes, that keeps with Adam Soon. So basically, the Soons were all about eugenics up until
Mars.
up until the guy in Enterprise. I can't remember what his name was. Obviously Soon, but I don't remember which Soon it was.
Yeah.
But that's one amazing thing, though. Was genetically all the males in the Soon family look identical. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's Khan. That's not Khan Noonien. Not Soon and the Singh are
I'm
different.
sorry. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, spoilers are over, Carol. You can come back.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about Strange New Worlds. Just kidding.
I mean, hey, I would do that.
Let's not.
Where fun goes to die.
Oh, right. Number one, yes. You know.
Okay. I guess we need a new topic.
Oh.
Come on, topic master.
Spin the wheel of pineapple.
That landed on an edge. I think because it landed on a
Uh-oh.
pile of stuff.
That means we have to
Does that
combine
mean-
the two topics.
Dang it, Ripper, get out of my head.
Well, this is a topic that Dave wanted to get into earlier, which is games that made you invest in hardware.
Aha.
Where do we start?
The Witcher 3.
Really?
Okay, what's your 3? Go on.
I mean, that's the only reason I bought an Xbox One.
Oh.
Okay.
I needed to be able to play The Witcher 3.
My
And I bought the PS4 so I could play Uncharted.
Okay.
In Memoriam actually made me upgrade my computer so that I could stream properly. So I guess that counts.
that is totally not the kind of answer you were expecting. But
No, I suspect it wasn't.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you did upgrade it for a game.
I upgraded it for a game. I invested in hardware.
It was a hand-me-down program, but
Yes. The hardware
Hey!
wasn't a hand-me-down.
we already know. Well, maybe the viewers don't know Tim's history of destroying hardware.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
That's a distinct
Tim is
possibility.
Tim
Yeah.
is basically the closest we're ever going to get to Magneto.
That is accurate.
Tim is where technology goes to die.
That's true.
apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not where fun goes to die, where technology goes
Yes.
to
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing that Fitbit is still working.
Yeah, this thing is like, this is intense. Also, I was supposed to charge it earlier today and I forgot. But yeah,
die. It
it's
doesn't need charging. It just sucks energy off of you.
If only.
it has held up surprisingly well.
Yep.
Well, how about you were Chris Tripper?
Wait.
For me, that's a tough one. I would say most recently Horizon Forbidden West. That's why I wanted to get the PS5. Is I love, the original Horizon Zero Dawn so much that I'm like, I got to get a PS5 for when this drops, and then that was the big one for me.
Question for you, Chris. Have you gone back and replayed Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS5 with the enhancements?
No,
Okay.
nope, I have not.
I'd be
I tend to
curious to see it.
once. Yeah, it's very rare that I play through a game again. Once I play it, it's done. It's the story in my mind, and I just sort of keep going on to something else.
That's sad.
Especially since you played Horizon Zero Dawn the hardest way possible, and that was melee attacking everything, apparently.
Yes. Yes, I did not have the patience to sit there and stalk and set traps. I just went, I went Leroy Jenkins on everything.
Because he hates stealth, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like watching. I'll admit, I play games on the easiest possible setting these days. Story mode, easy, because most of the times I'm in the story I'm in the game for the story.
Mhm.
So it's my 10, I feel like I played enough old school games to say, I've had my challenge. I just want to sit back and be slack, as David said.
Yeah.
What passes as hardcore mode in games today is pretty standard for like 30 years ago.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy Gamer
That is true.
was talking about how singing the praise of Forbidden West as well. Said absolutely gorgeous, and just how fast things load is astounding. But yeah,
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Chris had told me about it a while ago, and I was like, it's on the PlayStation. And then I ended up getting a PlayStation, so I ended up buying it for I think $10, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So, but Trip, what about you?
The most recent one is I got a Switch in order to get Mario Kart, and then proceeded to not buy another Switch game for like 4 years until like March. Before I went
Okay.
to Yeah, I had Mario Kart, and that was it. And then I
Speaking
got
of,
yeah, I need to check the Switch.
we need to get Mario Kart for the Switch
Yes.
for Saturday or Thursday, whatever.
It's next Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have gotten out of buying Nintendo hardware because I'm always like, oh, I'm going to play this game, and then I just don't play anything. I did that with the Wii. I did that with like the DS. I did that with the GameCube, and I just can't do Nintendo anymore.
One of my favorite game series is on Nintendo, and so I don't play anything with any regularity, but I do frequently come back around to it. It's the Animal Crossing games.
Okay.
I greatly enjoy Animal Crossing.
that's one of the few games that we bought my daughter for her Switch. We bought her a Switch last year for her birthday because she really wanted one, and all of her cousins have them. So I was just like, "Yep, I guess we're spending $300 on her for a game system."
Yeah, we got the kids a Switch for Christmas.
I had the original. I still have the original Animal Crossing, man. That game keep after 20 years. Jeez.
Do I need to close the door here, babe?
Oh, that's probably a good idea. We had it closed last week.
Yeah.
So let's see. I bought the original.
That was really loud.
Yes.
I bought.
It is my big boomy voice.
I bought the original PlayStation to play Final Fantasy VII.
I like Final Fantasy VII.
So, that and Puzzle Fighter, because I love Puzzle Fighter. Then I bought my Xbox to play Knights of the Old Republic. Ended up upgrading to the 360 to play Mass Effect, which the Mako and the Citadel killed that. And it took me years to get back into that. I forget what I bought the Xbox One to play. I bought a used PlayStation 2 to play the Kingdom Hearts games, which would lead us into another topic. So we'll leave that for another time.
It's okay to jump topic.
I know
the point of the Pineapple Show.
Maybe we'll go back to that topic after. And then I bought a PS4 to play the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Ah.
So that's two different consoles you bought for Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
Nice.
It's valid.
Yeah, that checks out.
I'm just proud that I own a example of every single major home Nintendo console. The Rob thing or the Virtual Boy don't really count because nobody had those. But yeah, like got the NES, Super NES, N64, Wii, or GameCube, Wii, and Switch, and that's all of them. There was absolutely nothing between the Wii and the Switch whatsoever.
Do you have the Wii U?
What's that?
The Wii U.
He's blocking it out.
Yeah. It's like those Spider-Man movies.
Wait, which Spider-Man movies?
The ones that don't exist.
It's the Wii 1.5.
There you go.
So, okay, we'll go back to Kingdom Hearts. So, Kingdom Hearts is one of those games where it's an awesome game, but the game mechanics / controls suck. The fact that there are no camera controls in the first Kingdom Hearts game makes it infuriating.
Yep.
So, when I had bought a PlayStation 2 off of Craigslist or something, or maybe it was eBay. I don't remember, but I picked it up, and I accidentally I wasn't paying attention. I put the Kingdom Hearts 2 disc in. I'm like, okay, I'm playing it, and then I'm like, wait a second, this is Kingdom Hearts 2. So then I took it out and I put Kingdom Hearts 1 in, and I was like, I played 5 minutes. I'm like, I can't move the camera. Take the game out, and I don't even know where my PlayStation 2 is anymore. So I might have to invest in the remastered editions because I think they added camera controls with the remastered.
I would assume they did.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I would hope. Yeah, I was gonna say I'd hope so.
But I mean, there were a lot of things I hoped for in the Mass Effect Legendary Edition that they didn't do. So you never know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I hoped for.
Daddy Gamer is defending the Wii U. Says people are too hard on the Wii U. I love that thing. Fantastic retro game machine. Zelda games with a second screen for inventory is sublime. Ours got a ton of gameplay.
Hmm.
I've never touched one. I don't know if I've ever
Yeah, I
actually
don't
seen one
either.
in
Same.
real life.
Yeah, I never got into it.
Well, we
We're all
didn't.
hating on our reputation.
We didn't. But we had. Did we even have a Wii, or were we just using your mom's?
No, mom bought the Wii, and then we borrowed it, and then she decided to give it to us.
Right.
And then she bought a new one because she gave us that one.
Right.
And then we borrowed it because Dylan broke the first one.
Mm.
And then she ended up giving it to us. So we owned both of the Wii's eventually.
But never a Wii U. It just never came up.
Yeah, no, we never got a Wii U. We skipped to the Switch.
Did he try to eat it?
No.
Just really going hard on that. Like,
Yeah, I don't know where this is coming from.
this complete mythical rumor he's come up with about Grizz out
Yeah.
of somewhere.
I went to New York City to the Nintendo World Store to get my Wii
Oh wow.
Wow.
because
Wow.
that was like it was a few months after it got released, and we had to wait in line and hope that we were in like the first 100 people in line
Oh goodness.
to be able to buy.
Like 15 years ago.
Yeah. So I remember like you know it was a limit one per customer, so I picked one up and Ren picked one up because my buddy from work wanted one. So we're like, well, we're going to the Nintendo World Store. If we can get one, we'll pick one up for you.
Right.
And then it sat and collected dust.
The gamer said, I got mine at a department store that was basically the off-brand of Kmart called Pamita.
Huh.
I
Never
thought
heard of that
Kmart
store.
was an off-brand.
Well, he's from much further into the Midwest than I think any of us.
Anyone here?
Yeah. So that might be a regional.
My mom's from Omaha and I never heard of it, so who knows?
But it was actually the Nintendo Wit.
Actually, but no, I never tried the Wii U, but it wasn't like because I didn't want to or because of any strong opinion on the matter. I just never did. Never got my hands on one, so it never happened. But yeah, no,
Like I always enjoy like playing like
that's just how off-brand it is.
Nintendo games. Like I always love their party games, but it just isn't enough these days for me to like buy one because I don't have people over enough to do that.
Oh yeah.
You know, we used to have like people over all the time, and we would play like Mario Party or whatever, and just have a blast playing it. But then like that kind of dried up when people started having kids and moving away and stuff, and
Right.
it's just like to me it's just not really worth the expenditure for something that I'm not really going to use outside of that purpose.
Right.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Man.
And I'm not like Chris with all that disposable income.
Hey, single, no kids. I got all the. Yeah, I'm fortunate.
Oh, that took a turn. I was about to say amen, then it's like, wait, no. Well, not single, but not married. But
Yeah.
So I guess while we're on the topic of what are your games that like have that are like amazing games but are ruined by that one aspect that you're like, why did they do this?
Batman Arkham Knight, the vehicle stuff.
There you go.
That's the first one that comes to mind. Kingdom Hearts was one. I loved the first Kingdom Hearts, but then it felt like they went away from like the Square Enix characters and the Disney characters and just went with these new other like I don't know. I just
It
I
went a
started
little
to-
weird.
Yeah, they got those people in robes, and I'm like, these
Yeah.
folks are lame.
So I've mentioned this before. I don't remember if it was on stream, but Witcher 3. I tried. Carol convinced me to try Witcher 3 because she was convinced that I would like the Witcher series, and I probably would. Everything that I know about it suggests I probably would. But
It's an amazing series.
when I tried it, the Witcher Vision was color coded in such a way that I couldn't make heads or tails of it. And so I lasted 5 minutes. As soon as I tried to use Witcher Vision, I looked around, I was like, this is not going to work for me. And I closed the game, and I've never touched it since. I'm told they fixed it.
We'll have to check.
We'll have to check, but I just haven't got around to finding out.
Yeah. I want to play it again anyway, because I do that.
Yeah, she plays through it again every once in a while.
Yeah, the first Witcher was mentioned in discussion
Yeah.
because there's no controller support in the first one, and
I couldn't do it.
it's click revolution basically.
The controls are just, they don't make sense.
That's something
so
Tim and I have in common.
clunky.
If I recall, you have to like charge like the circle and stuff to do certain things. Was that right?
What's this?
I don't remember
The original Witcher
that.
game.
Oh, I never tried
Like
it.
you had a ring around your character, and some of your moves you had to charge the ring to do like a swing move or spin.
I don't remember that. But I only played that first tutorial bit took forever. Because the controls are so terrible.
Oh,
And then
Daddy- Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and then leaving the tutorial, there was like one or two scenes after that I managed to play before I just couldn't.
You fight the
handle
giant
it
mantis
anymore.
creature, the praying mantis.
Maybe-
Listen.
Fell on it.
maybe that was it.
Listen,
Yeah.
use rope was a very sensible skill. I loved 3.5.
So Daddy Gamer was talking about the Borderlands art style. So, the cell shading art style.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I like Yep.
See, I've seen
I
cell
love
shading
that
done.
style.
I've seen cell shading done well, but
Well, it's not really full cell shading, but
Yeah.
it's like a muted version of it, which I love the art style of the Borderlands series because it is very unique. If you want to talk about like full cell shading, then you can talk about like the Jet Set and Jet Set Radio Future and like that game 13 that was on the original Xbox as well.
Yeah, but I can see it being hard to gauge like depth
Yep.
in that because the whole point of it is to make things kind of appear 2D.
Yep.
Which makes 3D difficult to process.
I guess that makes
And then
sense.
it becomes even worse when you get the vision blur from aiming down sights for doing iron sights. So I can see that.
Yeah. I like cell shading in orthoscopic top-down type environments, but for a first-person shooter, it's really difficult.
I do actually want to defend the use rope skill though, because it's in the chat. If you're signed in, you can see the chat.
Yeah, guys, come on.
I'm on my
it's just
phone,
Ripper.
so no, I can't.
Yeah. So use rope was super handy. I mean, it was one of those things where it's like you didn't think about it much when you were building characters, unless you had like weird notions about how the game was going to go. But it was actually it was one of the most flexible skills, because if you had a rope and you had ranks and use rope, you could just start trying to figure out things in when your DM threw stuff at you. And so we would use it pretty constantly to like, oh, you know what, we're gonna bust out use rope in order to make this climb skill better, or we're gonna figure out how to use rope to set up this like complex alarm system, and like all kinds of stuff. Like you could just come up with things, and use rope was super handy for that.
Didn't we do that when we did our first session of what was that game that we played with Aaron?
Probably.
The first session was like the one guy was a bounty hunter and he was hunting Aaron's character.
Yes!
And he used the rope to tie him up.
Yeah.
And there was like a whole big... We almost like TPK'd on the first game. Like, first session in. We just met everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
that
of
rope was
the
important.
One of the characters turned on the rest of the party like immediately.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
He's just like, listen, I'm going to help you guys, but first I need to kill this one.
Is use rope like our abuse of portals and Eminem?
It wasn't that egregious, but it was a very flexible skill, yeah. And so I liked that mechanic. But I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're just looking at like the list of skills, it is an odd one out. Like you have to roll a skill check to use rope. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you got creative with it though, it was super handy.
Roll the 1, hang yourself.
There was that risk, yeah. That was the danger with it. That was one of the things that made it interesting. Like, oh, you're trying to build this whole rope bridge thing with the rope. Yeah, that is weird. His issue was that in order to use a rope, you needed to be trained. Was it trained only? I don't remember if it was trained only in 3.5. Do I have my 3.5 book here? I don't remember if I lost my 5e book. Oh no, I don't have a 3.5 book here right now. But
Well,
It's not in your closet.
What's your answer?
probably DM discussion. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up.
Ouch.
Okay, so I've not answered. Who else hasn't answered?
I think it's just you.
I forgot
Okay.
what the question was.
Games that were ruined by a single thing.
Games where like the game can be seen as ruined because of gameplay or mechanics,
Ah, okay.
but otherwise would be awesome.
Okay. If anyone else has played this game, you'll know exactly what I'm going to say is the thing. Far Cry 2. There's the malaria mechanic where, like, every, I don't know, like, real world hour, you had to go get more malaria medication, and it was the most annoying thing ever. I don't know if later in the game you get cured of it, but I just gave up because, like, no, I'm not driving to this one town and going through all these roadblocks because it was, either I was doing something totally wrong, or it's just that.
Huh. It's been a while since I've played Far Cry 2. I remember it.
Do you know what game was ruined by a game mechanic for me? It was Mass Effect 2.
Which game mechanic?
We only
Scanning
talk
for
about it all
resources?
the time. Yeah,
Scanning for
scanning for resources. The fact that it was necessary to survive. Like, I would have been totally fine with that as a mechanic if they didn't make it necessary to survive. Because I can't let anybody die. That's, like, against my nature. It cannot happen. So if I don't come up to that suicide mission with everything I can have so that nobody dies, I will quit.
Oh, I think who's the mercenary in that game? The older guy.
Oh yeah,
I think-
it starts with a Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Zam?
No.
No, it's Oh
What's
goodness.
his name? Dang it.
I think he's gonna die on suicide mission in my
No one can die.
in my playthrough because I didn't win his
Zaid.
Yeah,
Zaid,
Zaid.
thank you. I
You didn't do his
get his
loyalty mission?
loyalty mission because I refused to let the workers die, so they got away.
No, I'm pretty sure with him, you can just finishing that quest is the same as completing his loyalty mission. It just
No,
changes.
you don't unlock his secondary skill because you have to get loyalty from him. So the guy that he wants you to kill escapes because I took time to save the people in the refinery.
Okay, see, I have never lost a character and definitely always saved those guys. So maybe you're just doing something wrong.
No, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm still doing all the side quests and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm taking a departure, but I'm guessing that the suicide mission I'm gonna lose him at least. Because generally, if you don't get the loyalty for those
I think it
secondary
depends,
skills,
because if you don't send him specifically on a mission, like with your companions, there are those specific missions that you have to send certain people on,
Mhm.
and the ones that you send out are the ones that risk dying. I'm pretty sure. So if you don't send him on something, he should be fine.
True. So going back to Mass Effect, you dropped something, Carol.
Do you think?
The one thing that I don't like is the fact that they have cover and mount as the same, being bound to spacebar. Because there's so many times where I'm trying to run and I'm trying to jump over something, then you go into cover, then you have to get out of cover, then you have to jump over the stupid thing. I don't know if you've ever had that problem.
No, because I played with controller, so it's different.
But it's one of those things where it's just like, no, I don't want to go into cover. I want to jump over the stupid thing. If you don't do it fast enough, you go into cover. And if you're trying to jump over something because someone is chasing you and shooting at you, you just duck in front of them and they shoot at you.
The other thing that was bad in Mass Effect was the guns overheating.
Oh,
That drove me nuts.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't mind that.
Really?
That was the biggest. When I first played Mass Effect 2, that was the biggest departure because I was like, oh, I gotta track ammo now. I love the fact in Mass Effect, in the first Mass Effect, that like you didn't have to track ammo and it's just like, okay, hop into cover, wait for your gun to cool down, and then I know exactly how many shots I have with, the highest sniper rifle. It's like I get 3 shots and then I have to duck.
Yeah. So my problem is, I always played with the assault rifle in the first one, and I have terrible aim. So when that gun overheats, after I've been like crazy firing, I usually end up dead.
Are you seeing this? About Cyberpunk 2077 and Eleanor. Now Chris, you were talking about liking the driving in Cyberpunk 2077, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from getting to point A to point B, I didn't mind.
Were you on PC?
No, I was on PlayStation,
Oh,
PS5.
That's probably the difference there then. Yeah.
So, yeah, Daddy, I have an Xbox One controller, wireless controller that I keep at my desk for for those specific things in Cyberpunk is like when I go to drive, I pick up the controller, and I use the controller to drive because you're right, the WASD mouse controls suck for driving in Cyberpunk. And it's the same thing for No Man's Sky, in my opinion, too. I also keep my picture controller on my desk for any space missions in No Man's Sky because I hate flying with the mouse and keyboard.
I hated driving in LA Noire.
Yeah, that was. I think that's another one that let you eventually skip if you didn't want to.
Yeah, so you could choose to let the other guy drive, but then you couldn't complete any of the map missions, like the pop-up stuff. So that was difficult for me. Because I'm a completionist, so I like to do all of those pop-up things, but the driving was terrible.
I drive in real life. I don't want to drive in my games. No, thank you.
And the other thing, Daddy Gamer, that I use the controller for in Cyberpunk is when you're trying to sell a mass amount of stuff from your inventory, using the mouse and keyboard sucks. You have to use a controller to sell stuff so that you can have the cursor like remain in the same spot.
Huh.
I still have to finish Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because like when you get to the end game content, if you specialize into crafting, there are tricks and perks that you can get so that like every time you craft an item, you can get a chance to create an epic or a legendary upgrade from that. And so in the end game, you end up making a ton of like armor mods because there are very few shops that you can actually buy the armor mods from, like the legendary ones. So you end up having to craft a lot of armor mods, and then you just have like 5 million armor mods in your inventory, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna sell all of these, and it takes forever if you're using your mouse. I still have to do that one achievement that I have left in Cyberpunk to get the 100%, which is you have to jump from a building onto 3 people and kill them all in one jump. And I have not been able to do it.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, you mentioned that one last week.
Yeah, it's a pain because like you have to up your strength like really high, and then you have to get like a certain mod, and then you have to get like the jump leg mod, and you have to be like jump off a building and then land like perfectly between like 3 people. And I did it before, but the Steam didn't actually recognize that I did it. I was like, they're all dead.
That's disappointing.
Man.
Are you character building right now?
Only slightly. No, it's...
And you got on me for playing a game!
I stopped. Let me just move this book. Over here.
All right, I think we might have exhausted that topic.
Yeah, and it's almost 11, so I think we could probably call it for the night. Unless we wanted to try one more topic.
Yeah, I'm game for one more.
Sure.
And thanks for hopping on tonight, Chris. instead of trolling the stream.
I'll try to join as much as I can.
Uh-huh.
If anything, just to make Dave happy. A happy Dave's happy Dave, happy life.
No, I'll still make your life miserable. You know that already.
I know. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'd be worried.
All right. This one is one that I had submitted last week, which is that I am excited for the Sandman trailer. Have you guys seen?
I have not seen it.
I have not seen it.
What? Oh my goodness.
Sandman.
Is that the Neil Gaiman book?
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a comic. Originally, it was a mini-series of comics written by Neil Gaiman in the, I think it started in the late 80s. Maybe it was in the 90s. I'm pretty sure it ended in the 90s. But it was in the DC universe. It took place in like the core DC universe. So Superman and Batman, stuff like that, were around, and some of them come up, at least in mention. But it focuses on being called Dream, who is the kind of the embodiment of dreams and the ruler of the dream realm. His title is Dream. His name is Morpheus, and at the beginning of this, there's like four of them. There's Dream. There's Dream, Death, I think Desire, and Delirium are kind of these four siblings. But at the beginning of the series, Dream had been summoned and captured in this mystical sphere, and was out of commission for like something like 20 years or something. Trapped in this sphere, and the story follows him getting out and kind of reclaiming his place as the Lord of Dreams and King of Nightmares. And it's a fascinating story, and they have a miniseries of it coming out on Amazon. I think Amazon.
Netflix
has it coming out it's pretty soon. They've done that, and it looks really good, and they brought in so Joanna Constantine is kind of a gender bent John Constantine, being played by what's her name? She was one of the companions on Doctor Who.
Which one?
Oh, the one that plays Clara Oswald.
Yeah, Clara.
Oh, okay.
I thought she looked familiar. I just watched the trailer. So
Yeah.
That's what's her name?
But yeah, it does look good. It's the first I've heard of it, but it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it's a great comic series. The trailer looks like they're going to do it justice. I'm very excited.
Jenna Coleman.
Jenna Coleman.
That's her name.
I had to look her up. I was like, I know her name.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember much. But yeah, there's in the comic series, like, there's this whole thing going on. There's like all these little other side stories and kind of like these denizens of Dream that show up that are important. And there's the Fiddler's Green is a key one, and a couple others. Cain and Abel are characters in it, and Lucifer. Morpheus has to go to hell to reclaim something that like fell into Lucifer's hand while he was trapped, and like there's a whole lot. It really dives into kind of the backstage of the DC universe a lot more than I think the most other stories do.
Oh wow, there are a lot of people in here.
Oh yeah.
So Patton Oswalt's going to be in it. David Thewlis is going to be in it. Charles Dance is in it. Stephen Fry, Gwendolyn Christie.
Is Stephen Fry by chance Fiddler's Green? Does it say?
Gilbert.
Oh yeah. All right, that makes sense.
I love Charles Dance.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Like I was very excited for Good Omens when it came out
Tywin Lannister.
because I read that
Yes.
book years ago. Normally, I don't like if I watch the movie or TV show or whatever. I won't read the book, and if I read the book, I won't watch. But these are exceptions that I'm making. Like Good Omens was an exception I had to make. Sandman is an exception I'm making.
Good Omens was really good.
I really enjoyed Good Omens. I think they're planning on making a second season of it.
Yes, they are.
Aren't they? Okay.
Mhm.
It's in production. I think they might have wrapped filming already. If not, they're going to very soon. And a lot of people were like concerned about that because there isn't a second book. But,
but it's all coming out of Neil Gaiman's head. So
yeah, well, apparently,
Yep.
what had happened was Neil and Terry Pratchett, because they wrote their original book together.
yeah,
They had planned a sequel, and they had painted the broad strokes of it, and so this is stuff that they had planned originally to do with it, but then Terry died before they could write it, and so it never got written. And so Neil is pulling all of those notes and all of that memory and making it become a thing that actually exists.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm pretty pumped about that too. Very curious how that's going to turn out.
hmm
I'll definitely be adding this to my list to track. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We'll have to add a. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and Umbrella Academy Season 3 is coming out, I think, this month.
Tomorrow, I think, actually.
Really?
We'll
Yeah.
have to check that
Uh-oh.
out.
I do like that series.
That's a fun series, too, yeah.
That's gonna
Yeah.
put a pause on literally everything else that we're watching. Right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. What were you
We'll
about
have
to
to
say?
add.
Dave?
We'll have to add a subject of good book adaptations,
Of which there are very few.
or successful movies based off of adaptations and what they got wrong, maybe.
It is on the list for next week. There.
Nice.
I'll assign it a number later. But
Are we gonna count video game movies in there too, or just books?
well, right now what it says is successful adaptations.
Yeah, I didn't. I was trying to be as generic as possible
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
because yes, you could put all of Uwe Ball's movies into that category.
Oh, dear Lord.
Of successful or unsuccessful?
Well, those are just movie adaptations that didn't work.
Has anybody watched the Halo series yet?
I watched
I
it.
did.
How is it?
I have mixed emotions.
It's-
They take away a huge amount of mystery around Master Chief because like 90% of the show you see him without his helmet or his armor.
Oh wow.
So it's just like, you should have followed kind of the Mandalorian. I know that they were trying to probably set themselves apart, and you get a lot of background on the Spartan program. And my favorite character is actually one of the Spartans.
Kai?
Yeah, Kai is my favorite character.
Yeah, she's probably my favorite character in the show. She's really good.
And like the last episode, it's like, oh, okay, I can see where they were going with this, but why did it take them, what was it, 7 or 9 episodes to get to that point? So that was as spoiler free as I could get it.
Appreciated.
As someone who was never really into Halo or the games, I enjoyed the show. I thought it wasn't the worst adaptation of a game to a show that I've ever seen.
But I do like the fact that they did make it their own. I don't know enough of the Halo series past like Halo 2 because again, we talked about this last week with Halo 3 was like, hey, this is Halo multiplayer, and then we'll throw in a story in as an afterthought. So I felt that most of the storytelling kind of went on the wayside. I believe there is one other Halo game, one of the newer ones, that the story was supposedly really good, but I just never bothered with it because at that point I was like, they've released Halo. You know, it's the same thing for like the Modern Warfare stuff and Call of Duty. It's like it's all multiplayer. There's no story anymore for me, in my opinion.
Halo ODST is the other really, really good one. I've not played it, but
yeah, I guess that's what
my
my coworker was telling me about. But at that point, it was like, well, I haven't played a Halo game in forever, so I probably don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like how the actor that played Master Chief played a bumbling cop in Orange Is the New Black.
I forgot. I don't remember which season that was. I didn't watch.
Like first
Was
couple
this first
seasons.
season? Okay.
First couple seasons, yeah. Porn stash.
Because I never finished watching the entire series. I watched up to the season where Sonequa Martin Green left the show.
Yes.
I watched part of like the season after that, but I never really had the heart to finish watching it, I guess.
Yeah, it goes a little bit off the rails, but did learn a lot about a lot of good actresses, that came out of that, and seeing Kate Mulgrew again was fun. So
yep. And going back to the Halo series, Steven Spielberg is the executive producer for the show, so it looks very pretty.
Good to know. I've been tossing around whether or not to watch it because I only recently played Halo 1 and 2 for the first time, like a few months ago. So
yeah, I mean, you don't have to be like fully versed in the series to watch the show. They give you a pretty good like kind of intro and stuff. It starts off, they're like, who are these aliens and kind of stuff. Like they still don't really fully know their motives and stuff. So
Yeah. I should probably check out the Halo show at some point, but I don't know how quickly I would actually get around to that.
definitely not till after the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I'm bad at starting new shows. I'm only a little bit behind on everything.
That's partially my fault.
Well, I mean partially, but I also there are shows that I was like, oh, I'll get around to this, and I haven't, or I didn't for the longest time. Like I've joked before in game about we're finally on Voyager because we are. Like I'm finally watching DS9 and Voyager. Like that wasn't Carol's fault that I waited 20 years to watch this.
Yep.
You just have to get through the first 4 seasons of Voyager, and then it starts actually.
We're in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been in season 1 for a while.
We have been. Because I can't do more than all right, so she hyperfixates, and so she wanted to start watching homesteading shows, and now that's where her mind is all the time. And I can only keep up I'm only gonna my head's. And I mean, I enjoy watching them too. I'm enjoying watching them as well. But like, that's when we sit down to watch TV together. That is the one show she's gonna put forward.
That's not. We've been switching between that and QI.
Yeah, but I always pick QI, and you always pick Homestead Rescue.
That's true.
That's
but
my
that's
point.
just because that's the one that we're watching together. Like
Yeah.
I watch everything else when we're not, because I see it. So now I'm not watching it on my own.
Yeah, I don't. I can only like do 2 shows at a time at most. So now that we're doing Homestead Rescue and QI, that's it. I'm not watching any Star Trek. I'm not watching anything else because that would require me to like do that. So we're gonna have to put at least one of those shows on hold to watch Umbrella Academy,
Oh no!
and then
It's gonna be both of them.
it's gonna
We're
be
gonna
both of them.
binge
We're gonna
Umbrella.
binge
Well,
it.
Umbrella Academy is only going to be like 10 episodes anyways.
That's true, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Halo's only 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sandman, I gotta watch Sandman. So you know,
Yeah. And we got to catch up on all the Marvel stuff.
we're so far behind on Marvel.
Yeah. I haven't even seen the second Spider-Man.
No, yeah, but
Also, my Plex.
Yeah. Well, I know it's there because he watched it there.
that's true.
But I didn't watch it with him, and now we haven't watched anything since, except for WandaVision and Loki.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna call it there. This was fun.
Okey-doke.
This was. I think this was a pretty good episode. We had a good conversation. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Let's all take a moment to publicly berate Jacob and Steven for not showing up.
Or Eric.
Well, Eric we
That's-
knew was most likely going to be late. Steven and Jacob were the reason why we pushed this back an hour to 8 o'clock.
That's true. We did start an hour early for them.
That's true. So
At
yeah,
least for Steven. I don't know if it was for Jacob.
and if you at home want to help us yell at them for that, you can join us on Discord. And will we see you next week on Pineapple?
Yeah.
I will be so happy if we suddenly get just like 3 or 4 new people. They
Right?
scream at both of them, then leave.
Yeah. But don't actually leave.
Yeah, don't actually leave.
No,
We
no.
want you there.
But
And
if
you
you're
should
going to
stay.
make sure you violate all the rules and actually make us have to ban you, that would be hilarious.
And thank you to Daddy Gamer.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was fun interacting with the chat tonight.
Oh, yes.
Last week
Yeah.
we didn't have much in chat, so it was definitely fun to interact with people.
Yeah, and
And
King
answer
and
questions
King
and
Pineapple.
King Pineapple.
And King Pineapple as well, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you guys for calling in and doing this, and we will see you all next week.
Alrighty.
All right, good night,
Right.
folks.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.